A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
And now, tonight's presentation of radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense. Tonight, the story of terror in the streets. We call it The Whole Town Sleeping. So now, starring Miss Jeanette Nolan, here is tonight's suspense play written by Ray Bradbury, The Whole Town Sleeping.
It was a warm summer night in the middle of Illinois country. The little town was deep, far away from everything, kept to itself by a river and a forest and a ravine. In the town, the sidewalks were still scorched. The stores were closing, and the streets were turning dark. Screen doors whined their springs and banged, and there was the sound of Grandma Hanlon's swing hammock across the street. On her solitary porch, Lavinia Nebbs, age 37, very straight and slim, sat with a tinkling lemonade in her white fingers, tapping it to her lips, waiting.
Here I am, Lavinia.
Lavinia turned. There was Francine at the bottom porch step. She was all in snow white and didn't look 35.
I won't be a minute, Francine. I'll just lock the door.
All right. Oh, I do like your dress, dear.
Why, thank you, dear.
You look so well in that color. I'm afraid I could never wear it. It makes me look sallow.
No, it doesn't. I'm sure not. Of course, I've always loved you in white.
Evening, ladies.
Good evening, Mrs. Hanlon.
Good evening. Where are you ladies going all dressed up so pretty?
To the Majestic Theater, Mrs. Hanlon. Robert Mitchum's playing in Not as a Stranger.
It won't catch me out on a night like this. Not with the lonely ones strangling women. Lock myself in with my guns. That's what I'm going to do.
I wouldn't worry, Mrs. Hanlon.
What about Eliza Ramsell? You think she's not worrying? Lock myself in with my gun. That's what two ladies should do.
So silly. Silly old woman.
Lavinia, you don't believe all that gossip about the lonely one, do you?
A lot of silly old women who haven't got anything better to do than talk.
Well, just the same, Hattie McDullis was killed a month ago and Roberta Ferry the month before. And now Eliza Ramsell disappearing.
Eliza Ramsell walked off with a traveling man, I bet.
But the others, strangled.
Oh, Francine.
They reached the edge of the ravine that cut the town in two. Stood there. Behind them were the lighted houses. Ahead, deepness, moistness, fireflies, and dark. The ravine had to be crossed to reach the movies, deep and black as it cut into the hills, then a creaking bridge to cross over the stream, then 113 steps up the steep and brambled bank to the other side. The lady stood there, looking down.
It won't be me coming back tonight, Lavinia. It'll be you. Oh, I'd never walk there alone at night. Never.
Bosh.
Well, you can say bosh. But it'll be you alone on the path, not me. Oh, Lavinia, I do wish you didn't live on this side. Don't you get lonely living by yourself in that house?
Old maids love to live alone. Come on, we'll take the shortcut.
I'm afraid.
Oh, come on, don't be so silly. I'll hold your hand.
Lavinia, cool as mint ice cream, took the other woman's arm and led her down the dark, winding path into cricket warmth and frog sound and mosquito-delicate silence.
Oh, let's run, Lavinia, please.
No. Why should we?
If Lavinia hadn't turned her head just then, she wouldn't have seen it. But she did turn her head, and it was there, back among a clump of bushes, half hidden, but laid out as if she had put herself there to enjoy the soft stars, lay a Eliza Ramsell, her face moon-freckled, her eyes like white marble. Then Francine saw it too, and the women stood on the path for a frozen second, not believing what they saw. Lavinia held Francine, and the policemen were all around in the ravine grass. Flashlights dotted about, voices mingled, and the night grew on toward 8:30.
You didn't move her, ladies.
Of course not.
Oh, no, we couldn't touch her. How could we?
And there was nobody? You didn't hear anything? Sounds, anything unusual?
No, nothing.
It's the lonely one, isn't it? He did it, didn't he?
Couldn't say, ma'am.
We knew her, you know. She was a friend of ours.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I'll have one of my men walk you across the ravine.
That won't be necessary. Thank you very much. We'll be all right.
Oh, Lavinia.
Come along, dear.
And they crossed the ravine, each with her own thoughts, fears. And the creek waters under the bridge whispered, I'm the lonely one. I'm the lonely one. I kill people. Then they were at the top of the stairs and bathed in safe light from the street lamp.
I've never seen a dead person before.
It's only a little after 8:30. We'll pick up Helen and get on to the show.
The show? Oh, Lavinia, you don't mean it.
Of course I do. We've got to forget this. It's not good to remember.
But Eliza's back there.
We need to laugh. We've got to pretend that nothing happened.
But she was our friend.
We can't help her. There's no good brooding about it. I'm going to get it out of my mind, and you should too. Now, if we hurry, we won't miss too much.
I thought you'd never come. You're an hour late.
Well, someone found Eliza Ramsell dead in the ravine.
Oh, no. Eliza. Who found her?
Oh, we don't know.
Oh, how awful. Did you see her? Was it terrible?
Let's not talk about it.
Oh, I really think I should lock myself in my house. I don't think we'd better go tonight.
Of course we will. It's the last showing today. Besides, the lonely one can't kill 3 ladies. There's safety in numbers. Anyway, it's too soon. The murders come a month separated. Come along, Helen.
Well, I'll get a sweater. You wait for me.
Why didn't you tell her about us finding Eliza? Why upset her? Time enough tomorrow. I told you tonight we've got to forget. We're going to the show, and let's not talk about it anymore. Enough's enough.
The ladies walked downtown and stopped at the drugstore, which was a few doors from the theater. Lavinia bought a quarter's worth of green mint chews, and the druggist dropped the mints into a sack with a silver shovel.
You looked mighty cool this noon, Miss Lavinia, when you was in. So cool and nice, someone asked after you.
Oh?
Yeah, man sitting at the counter. He watched you walk out, and he says to me, "Who's that?" Just like that, he says. "Why, that's Lavinia Nebbs, prettiest maiden lady in town," I says. "Beautiful," he says. "Beautiful. Where she live?"
You didn't give him her address, I hope. You didn't.
Well, maybe I shouldn't have. Oh, I didn't give him the exact address. I said over on Park Street, near the ravine. Kind of casual.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
What did he look like?
Oh, not much, I guess. Wore a dark suit, pale, kind of thin. Probably nothing but a stranger passing through. I'm sorry, Miss Lavinia. There's no charge for the peppermint.
Don't be silly, Mr. Briggs.
Well,
Here.
I know what we're going to do right now. We're going straight home. That man asking after you. You're next, Lavinia. You want to be dead in that ravine?
It was just a man. That's all. It doesn't mean a thing.
That's what I figured. Nothing to worry about.
There's nothing to worry about.
I'm not going to miss the movie. You two can do what you want. I'm going.
Well, I think we should all go home.
So do I. She's right, Lavinia.
No, she's not.
Yes, she
Now,
is.
listen.
They argued for 5 minutes, then the three of them went to the theater. Francine and Helen reluctantly. Lavinia, head high, self-possessed, cool. In the auditorium, they sat in the odor of ancient brass polish, waiting for the second show to begin. And the lights began to fade.
Dark suit followed us. He was thin. I think he had a pale face. He just came in and he's sitting behind us. What? Oh, Helen.
Theater feeling new. And now they were laughing at Francine. And Francine was laughing at herself.
You see how silly it was. All that riot for nothing.
We knew we were running up the aisle, screaming lights. Honestly, I thought I'd die.
Oh, that poor man.
The theater manager's brother from Racine. Oh, Francie.
Well, I did apologize.
No.
You see what a panic can do. And all for nothing.
We shouldn't have stopped for sodas, though.
Wasn't that a wonderful picture? Will you ever forget?
The streets were clean and empty. Not a car or a truck or a person was in sight. The ladies walked under a flickering neon sign, buzzing like a dying insect. The sounds of their heels shot on the big pavement.
First we'll walk you home, Francine.
Oh, no, I'll walk you home.
If you walked me home, you'd have to come back across the ravine alone. I know you. If a leaf even fell on you, you'd drop dead.
Well, I could stay the night at your house.
No, it's all settled. First I'll take you home, and then Helen.
Lavinia, Helen, stay here with me tonight. It's late. Mrs. Murdoch has an extra room.
No, thanks. I don't sleep well away from my own bed.
Oh, please, Lavinia, please. I don't want you dead.
Now, you've got to stop this. I mean it. I promise I'll call you the very minute I get home.
Now, will you? Will you really?
I promise.
And Helen, you make her promise you to call.
I will.
Well, good night. Be careful.
Now, I'll walk you home.
The courthouse clock struck the hour. The sounds went across a town that was empty. Emptier than it had ever been before. Over empty streets and empty lots and empty lawns, the sound went.
10, 11, 12.
I don't suppose it's any use asking you to stay, Lavinia.
There's no reason for me to.
You've acted so strangely tonight.
I'm just not afraid, that's all. And I'm curious, I suppose. Of course, I'm using my head. I mean, logically, the lonely one can't be around. Not now with the police and all.
Did you ever think that maybe your subconscious doesn't want you to live anymore?
You and Francine.
Honestly, Helen, I feel so guilty. I'll be drinking a cup of coffee just about the time you get to the ravine. Ooh, with that awful bridge in the dark. You will call us the minute you get home, won't you? I won't sleep a wink if you don't.
I'll call. Now, good night.
Lavinia Nebbs walked down the midnight streets, down the late summer silence. She saw the houses with their dark windows, and far away she heard a dog barking. She thought to herself,
in 5 minutes, I'll be safe at home. In 5 minutes, I'll be phoning Francine and Helen. They're so silly, like old hens. Old. I'm older than either of them.
She heard a man's voice singing away among the trees, and she walked a little faster. And then coming down the street toward her in the dimming moonlight was a man.
Well, look who it is. What a time of night for you to be out, Miss Nebbs.
Officer Kennedy. Oh, I'm so glad it's you.
Something wrong, Miss Nebbs?
No, nothing at all. I'm just glad it's you.
You know you shouldn't be out now.
I know. I've been to the movies. It is late.
Yeah, come on. I'd better see you home.
Oh, no. I can make it fine.
Yeah, the moon's going behind the trees. It'll be pretty dark.
I'm not afraid of the dark, Mr. Kennedy.
You sure you'll be all right?
Quite sure.
All right,
Thank
tell
you.
you what. I'll wait here till you cross. If you need help, just give a yell and I'll come around. I'll check by your house later on my way back.
Thank you. Good night.
As she walked away, she thought,
I won't walk in the ravine with any man. How do I know who the lonely one is? No, thank you.
then the ravine. She stood on top of the 113 steps, down the steep brambled bank that led across the creaking bridge 100 yards and up through the Black Hills to Park Street.
3 minutes from now, I'll be putting my key in the house door. Nothing can happen. Nothing.
She started down the dark green steps into the deep ravine night.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
The ravine was deep,
11.
and the world was gone. The world of safe people in bed. The locked doors,
17,
the town, the drugstore,
19,
theater, lights.
21,
Everything was gone.
23,
Only the ravine existed
25,
and lived, black and huge around her.
9, 30, 1. Nothing's happened, has it? No one around, is there? I remember that old ghost story you told each other when we were children about the dark man coming into your house and you upstairs in bed. And now he's at the first step coming up to your room. Now he's at the second step. Now he's at the third, the fourth, the fifth step. How you laughed and screamed at the story. Now the horrid man is at the 12th step, opening the door. Now he's standing by your bed. What? What's it? There at the bottom, look at the man under the light. No. He's gone. He was waiting there. Nothing. It's empty. Nothing. Nothing on the bridge. The roof. That story I told myself. Oh, silly. Shall I call Mr. Kennedy? Did you hear me scream? Or did I scream? Maybe I only thought I did. Then you didn't hear me at all. I'll go back up. Go to Helen's and sleep there tonight. No. It's nearer home now. Don't be silly. Wait. Someone following me. Someone on the steps behind me. I don't dare turn around. Every time I take a step, you take one. Officer Kennedy, is that you? Is it?
The crickets were suddenly still. The crickets were listening. The night was listening to her. Then there was a sound. Only a woodchuck, surely, beating a hollow log. But it was Lavinia Nebbs. It was most surely the heart of Lavinia Nebbs. She went down the steps faster, faster, run. She heard music, in a mad way, a silly way. She heard the surge of music that pounded at her, rushed, plunging her faster and faster, down into the pit of the ravine.
Only a little way. Across the bridge. Run! Run! Don't turn!
Don't look. If you see him, you'll not be able to move. Just run.
And across the bridge, up the path between the hills, the top of the path, the street, and even with the light, the fear swirled about her, closing in, pressing.
If I get home safe, I'll never go out alone. I was a fool. Never again. If you let me get home for this, I'll never go out again alone. I promise. Please. Please. Let me. Please. Please. Give me time to get inside and lock the door. And I'll be safe. Oh, safe at home. Safe at home. Listen. Not a sound. Oh, wait. Oh, wait. Oh. The window. There's no one there at all. Nobody. There was no one following me at all. Nobody running after me. How silly. The man had been following me. He would have caught me. I can't run as fast as the man. I wasn't running from anything except running. The ravine was safer than safe. Oh, it's nice to be home now. Home, the really good, warm, safe place. The only place.
She had just put her hand out to the light switch when she heard it behind her in the blackness. Just a movement.
What? What? Who is it?
Beautiful.
Suspense, in which Miss Jeanette Nolan starred with Paula Winslow, Eve McVeigh, and Bill Conrad in tonight's presentation of Ray Bradbury's The Whole Town Sleeping, adapted by Anthony Ellis.
And now, tonight's presentation of radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense. Tonight, the story of a fishing cruise and bait that was a life insurance policy. We call it Over the Bounding Main. So now, starring Mr. Tony Barrett, here is tonight's suspense play, Over the Bounding Main.
Marty, when are you going to put a light in this garage?
I'm sorry, honey, I forgot.
Oh, You forgot. Too bad you can't forget to wake up some morning.
Oh, look, just because you had a couple too many drinks at the Warrens, you don't have to get nasty.
I had too many. Are you kidding? I watched you. Don't think I didn't.
Oh, come on. Let's go in, huh? I got to be downtown early.
For what? So you can make enough to buy a house at Catalina like the Warrens? Get a new car, there's a little thing called money, but you wouldn't know. You've got to find the right job.
Look, are we going over that again?
Yes, we're going over that again. I'm ashamed when I go out. Did you see what she was wearing?
Will you keep your voice down? The neighbors...
You say that again and I'll kill you.
You'll be sorry in the morning.
I'll be sorry, all right. Sorry like every other morning. Because you'll be here.
I guess a lot of it was my fault. I wanted the right kind of a job. It was hard to find. Ever since Claire got rid of Lou Barris, her ex, we've been living pretty close and
Claire just wasn't used to it. The Warrens made it worse. They were well-heeled, and I was supposed to keep up with the Warrens. I knew I could never do it. Maybe Claire knew, too. Claire had got the invitation for us to go with the Warrens to Catalina. So now we were driving down 22nd Street from San Pedro to the landing. It was nearly 3 in the morning and very dark. There was a light fog drifting in the harbor.
Don't forget to lock it.
Sure. Look out for the fishing rods, will you?
You better give me the keys. You're so careless.
I won't lose them.
I know you, all that junk in your pockets. You'll lose them.
Don't worry.
I will. Why don't you let me hang on to them? We'll be in a nice mess if you...
All right. Here, take them.
Thank you, dear.
I guess we were the first ones here. I don't see Bob's car.
Oh, I forgot to tell you. We're meeting them at the Isthmus.
On the island?
Yes. They've been there all week.
You didn't say anything about it. I thought...
Well, for Pete's sake, what difference does it make? If you're worrying about chartering a boat to get us there, you can stop. It's all arranged. Bob's paying for it. They know you're broke.
Sure. You blabbed that to everyone. I was a great guy when I had it, huh?
Well, you lost it, so let's not talk, shall we?
That's okay with me.
That must be the boat down there.
The Pelican, that the name?
I think so. Yes, that's it.
Watch your step, huh? Why the devil you wear shoes like that on a fishing trip?
Because they're all I have.
Hello? Anyone aboard?
1 minute, senor. Senor Evans?
Yeah, that's right.
Come aboard, sir. If I may help the lady.
Thanks. Oh, you can sure tell this is a fishing boat.
You, captain on the stuff?
No, sir. I'm Ignacio. Deckhand. I help run the engine.
Thought you looked a little young. Where is he?
He went ashore for a minute, senor.
Well, I'm ready anytime he is.
Here, Sonny, take my stuff below.
Si, senora, right away.
Smart-looking kid, huh?
Oh, gosh. I'm sleepy.
Now you wake up when we get going. Oh, boy. Oh, I smell that air. Hey, you know, honey, I think we're going to have fun.
Well, there must be a bunk somewhere. I'm going below.
Oh, come on. Stay with me.
I'm sleepy.
Okay, but you'll be sorry. I'm going to start trolling as soon as we clear the harbor.
Wake me up when we get there.
Senor, there is a captain coming down the dock.
Oh, yeah. Now we get started. Huh?
Yes.
I read where the Albacore running.
Well, it may be, senor. I've only been working on the Pelican for 2 days.
All set?
Yes, Capitan Moran.
Let's go then.
I'm Mr. Evans. The wife is below taking a nap.
Hi. Cast off! All clear!
You, think this fog will lift?
Might.
Any idea how far offshore we might hit Albacore?
No telling.
How long do you figure for us to reach Catalina?
Depends on the fog.
Oh. Well, I guess I'll go and get my outfit rigged up.
Yeah. Why don't you do that?
Sure that feather's the best lure for him?
Oh, I've got many albacore with it, senor. If they're hungry, they'll take it. But this time of night, you'll probably only get shark.
Well... Hey, stop the boat.
Hey, right, senor. Let him take it. Give him light.
You know me. Got it.
Count 5, senor. Slow. Slow. Now, senor. Strike him.
Hey, I'll say. Hey, stop the boat, will you? What's the matter with him? I'm going to lose my line. I can't hold him.
Brace yourself against your rail, senor.
Look, don't tell that fool to stop the boat, will you?
Yes. Capitan, strike. Senor, look out. The rail. Are you hurt, senor?
No. Hey, you had to push me. I had a gun over.
cannot understand the rail breaking.
What the devil was Moran trying to do? We could have been killed. You tell him to stop, he speeds up.
Perhaps he did not hear.
No, I want a few words with that joker. Hey, you. You know, I almost went under the drink. The rail at the stern broke.
Oh, that's too bad. I'll have to get it fixed.
Yeah. What the devil were you trying to do? The kid yelled for you to stop.
Sorry. I thought he wanted me to put about. Thought you'd lost your tackle.
I nearly lost my skin. Ignacio hadn't been so quick on his feet.
Sorry.
And that was all I got. He just turned back to the wheel. And then something stuck in my memory. I kept thinking I'd seen the guy before. Never talked to him, never met him, but somehow I knew his face. I looked him over, but I couldn't pin it down. I started back aft when all of a sudden Clara came out on deck. She rushed to the stern, looked over, then spun around and saw me. She had a strange look in her eyes. Her face was very white. Hey, what's the matter? You sick?
No, Yes, I think I'm seasick.
No, there is a bit of a swell. Look, stay on deck. You'll feel better.
No. I'm going to lie down again.
Okay. You look pretty bad. Come on, I'll help you down.
I'm all right. Go on back up.
No wonder you feel lousy. Smell. Oil and dead bait. Look, I'm not kidding. You'll feel better up there.
Let me alone, will you?
What's the matter with the engine?
How should I know?
Look, you take it easy.
Yeah. I'll take it easy.
What's wrong, Moran?
Nothing serious. We'll be on our way in a few minutes.
Oh. Looks like the fog's getting thicker. Don't you think you ought to sound the horn?
Sound the blank.
Oh, that's swell. This tub's in great shape.
It'll do.
Where's the kid?
Ignacio? Below, honey, down the trouble. Now, look, why don't you just relax? I'll go and help him.
It was a fine way to relax. Drifting in the Catalina Channel with no motor, no foghorn, and you couldn't see more than 20 feet out. After a while, I folded up with my back to the bait tank. I dozed off. When I woke up, we were still drifting. The fog was even thicker. I started to look for Moran. He wasn't anywhere on deck. I felt that something was wrong, besides the motor. When I heard the voices, I knew it.
You go soft on me now. I've done my part of this. You're doing yours.
I can't.
You don't have any choice. I can't stall him with the bum motor gag much longer.
Oh, please.
I don't get it. Come crawling to me with this big idea. Why get squeamish? He's worth a lot more dead than alive. 20 grand, isn't it?
I just can't do it.
Listen, baby, there's a lot of dough invested in this guy. And it's going through on schedule. And there isn't any backing out.
You are listening to Over the Bounding Main, tonight's presentation in radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense.
Are many for the unwary motorist. Excessive speed means more blowouts. More blowouts mean more fatalities. And since more cars are on the roads than ever, there are more fatalities than ever, too. Drive to survive.
And now we bring back to our Hollywood soundstage Mr. Tony Barrett, starring in tonight's production of Over the Bounding Main, a tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
I don't think I was scared. Not at first, that is. You can only take in so much, and then something in your mind shuts it off. This fishing trip, it was Claire's idea. And the only thing she planned on hooking was a $20,000 policy on the life of Martin Evans. I moved away and toward the stern. I needed help now. Maybe there was somebody I could count on. The young deckhand, Ignacio. I found him all right, sprawling his face in the bow, lying over the anchor. Kid, come on. Ignacio. Hey. Wake up. He smelled like a distillery. I shook him, slapped him as hard as I dared, but he went right on sleeping. Captain Moran had taken good care of the only friend I had. With the Mickeys poured into him, he'd be lucky if he ever woke up. And now I was good and scared. Moran would be coming up on deck. Then I remembered. The gaff. A hole with a razor-sharp hook at the end. I moved to the stern quietly, feeling with my feet because I couldn't see now. And then I tripped over something, fell to the deck. It was the gaff. I grabbed it, got up.
Evans! Evans! Hey, Evans! I know you're here. Evans! Evans! Can you hear me?
I heard him all right. I wondered how I was to die. I had a picture of knives, guns, axes, ropes. Suddenly something clicked into place. Rope. There was a coil of heavy rope on the forward deck. A coil of heavy rope on the forward deck.
All right, Evans. You can't get very far. Getting tired? Want to go around again?
Keep away from me.
After all, is it my fault if a new deckhand I hire gets crazy drunk and shoots up the ship?
He'll tell.
Mutiny. Murder. Ignacio won't even remember it. Isn't it funny what liquor will do to a kid? Penalty for mutiny is a rough one. Sorry he had to kill you.
You won't get me. You won't get me.
No. Is he?
He decided to swim for it. Well, that saved a lot of trouble. I lay quietly on the deck. If Moran should notice the missing coil of rope, it wouldn't take him long to figure out exactly what made that splash in the water. He couldn't see any better than I could. But as soon as it got light, there I'd be. Right out in the open without a prayer. The only thing I gained was a few hours at the most, so I huddled against the rail and I hung onto that fishing gaff, waiting. Then I heard Claire and Moran coming out on deck.
I guess that's the best way.
Can't miss if you don't lash it up. Those cops are smart. One little angle where our stories don't match it. Well, you just keep your head.
Don't worry about me.
All right, this is important. Now, once more.
Not again.
Once more. Who heard the shot?
I did.
And?
I rushed on deck to see Ignacio struggling with Marty.
Ignacio had a gun.
Ignacio had a gun. He and Marty fought, and they nipped aside. Marty went overboard.
And our engine's dead. He just disappeared in the darkness. Right?
Can't we start back?
I gotta change some parts first, make it look like the engine really was out. You see? Every little angle counts.
Well, I wish it was over.
And for Pete's sake, remember my name is Moran. Now, you never saw me until you got on board the Pelican.
There's no way they can check. I don't even have the locket anymore.
Good. I'm going to fix the engine. As soon as it gets light, we'll head back to port.
The locket. I'd forgotten all about Claire's locket, but when she mentioned it, the last chunk of the puzzle dropped into the slot. And I wondered why I hadn't thought of it before. The little locket, heart-shaped, with Claire's picture on one side and Lou Barris's on the other. The one she wanted to keep for sentiment's sake. Her first husband, Lou Barris, the guy I remembered from the picture, Captain Moran, that's who he was. It all figured. Lou scores a triple play, gets his wife back with 20 grand in a purse, and pays off Martin Evans with a one-way trip to the bottom of the ocean. Then I thought of the dinghy. She was swinging from the stern about 25 feet off. It was a chance if I could get to it. I could hear Lou working on the engine. He'd done a good job when he made it quit. I only hoped it would take him a little longer to repair it. I got up, started back. The water was almost oily, and the boat laced up and down. Somehow in the dark, I found the dinghy line. I was about to pull on it when I saw Claire come on deck. I didn't move as she came toward me. If you make a sound, I'll hook this gaff right to your throat.
Marty.
Yeah, I returned from the dead and I haven't anything to lose. Pull on this rope.
But I
Pull
can't.
on it. You and me are getting into the dinghy.
All right.
Yeah, it all figured out, didn't you? But you forgot one thing. Lou has to marry you again to collect the dough. And if you're not alive...
Marty, please. I'm sorry.
I am.
Give me that rope. Don't you move.
I've been wrong. I know it.
Yeah, sure.
I'm glad you're all right. I've been wrong about us.
Don't worry. I won't kill you unless I have to. From my new insurance policy. Now, get over into the boat.
I can't.
Sure, it's little. And the ocean's big, but we're going just the same.
Claire!
Not a sound. Get in.
Claire! She's ready to go!
Smooth and neat. As long as I had a gaff at Claire's neck, Lou couldn't do a thing. His one bullet would cost him Claire $20,000, maybe his life. We drifted off a bit. I reached for the oars, but there weren't any. There weren't any oars. When I looked up, I saw Moran standing in the stern of the Pelican.
Evans! I can see you! There aren't any oars, are there?
That's right. If you try to shoot me and Claire's a gun or two, I got the gaff.
Claire! I'm going to put him out. Don't worry.
Why don't you answer him, honey?
Don't you understand? I'm sorry. I don't want you to die. I want to be with you. I was wrong.
You bet you were wrong. We're going to find out. We're going to paddle with our hands. If we can lose him in the fog, we'll be all right. Just remember this. If he finds me, it's too bad for you. I'll paddle. Get over on the side. Look out, she's stepping. Look out, left.
You lost it. The gas.
Yeah, I lost it.
It doesn't matter. Now maybe you'll believe me. I want to help you get away from him.
Believe you? If he finds us, as soon as I see the boat, I'm going to knock you out and throw you overboard. That's how I believe you. Now paddle.
Claire! Claire! Evans, don't be a fool! You'll drift out to sea! Once the water jumps up, you haven't got a shot!
Stop paddling. Be quiet.
Listen to me. Please. I love you. I'm on your side. I won't let him hurt you.
Shut up.
Evans! Evans!
A patch of fog dissolved for a second, and in the darkness I saw a darker shape. It was the Pelican, and I knew that Lou had seen us. I reached for Claire. I pulled her shoulder, then her neck.
Claire, are you all right?
Yes! He's lost the gas!
She was telling him to shoot me. And suddenly it didn't matter anymore. The Pelican loomed over us, and Claire twisted away from me, and I didn't care. I was tired.
Come on, Evans, get up here. I want you found on deck. You first, Claire. Give me a hand. All right, Evans. Get out of there.
Get it over with. I'm staying.
Give me the gun, Lou. Let me do it.
You kidding?
No, give it to me. I hate him.
Oh, baby, I'll do it.
You better tie the dinghy on, then. I can't hold it.
Yeah, hold the gun.
Give me the rope, Marty. I don't want you to drift away now.
I got out of the dinghy, stood on deck looking down at what used to be Lou Barris. Claire handed me the gun and just stared at me. We didn't say anything for a long time. Fog is lifting.
Yes.
It's getting lighter. Guess the sun will be breaking through soon.
Do you believe what I told you before?
Yeah, I believe you now.
I'll try to make it up to you.
Sure. Well, you better get going.
We going back to San Pedro?
Yeah. Guess I can figure out how this thing runs.
Marty, what about me?
Well, I gotta tell the police.
Oh.
Maybe it won't be too tough. I don't know.
It's all right. Better. Marty,
Yeah.
Do you still care? I mean...
I was going to kill you back there, and I didn't. You figure it out.
Suspense, in which Mr. Tony Barrett starred in tonight's presentation of Over the Bounding Main. Next week, the story of 12 men and women and the fate of an accused murderer. We call it The Holdout. That's next week on Suspense. Produced and directed by Anthony Ellis. Tonight's script was written by Jimmy Barnett and Gloria Elmoy. The music was composed by René Garrigan and conducted by Lud Gluskin. Featured in the cast were Charlotte Lawrence, Dawn Diamond, and Jack Crucian. Join the FBI in Peace and War Wednesday nights on the CBS Radio Network.
The bailiff held the door open, counted each person entering. 8 women, 4 men, 12 of us. He closed the door and locked us in. There was a long table, chairs, a water cooler, clock on the wall. 9:30. With the windows closed, the air was warm, moist.
Well, I guess you'd better get started, folks.
And we began the process of deciding whether a man was guilty or not guilty to a charge of murder. There were 2 hours of open discussion before Mr. Muncy, the jury foreman, decided to take the first ballot, the secret ballot. He collected the folded pieces of paper and sat down.
Miss Keller, would you keep count as I read the ballot, please?
All right.
A person is guilty. 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 Not guilty. What? Guilty. Guilty. And guilty.
11-1.
One holdout. Now what are we supposed to do? Now, start over, I guess. How much time have we got? All day.
And if we don't reach a verdict?
I guess they'll lock us up in a hotel overnight. They're not locking me up. I got to get home tonight. All right, then. Let's go over it again, folks. Someone will have to change their mind before we can get out of here.
Mr. Donovan?
Yes, Mrs. Carmichael.
You've been awfully quiet. Anything you'd like to say?
Well, I was trying to think the way the one holdout might be thinking. Is there something we failed to consider? Possibly the matter of intent to commit murder was definitely premeditated.
Oh, Avery knew his wife was with that Cy Randall fella, so he got a gun and went up there and killed him. I don't care how you spread it, that's murder.
No, there's more to it than that, Mr.
For instance?
There's the plea of temporary insanity.
Yes, that confused me a little. The judge said we should consider temporary insanity.
Oh, to tell you the truth, Mrs. Medina, my woman's intuition tells me...
Hogwash.
Really, Mr. Smith, your manners...
Let's keep this discussion sensible.
I refuse to discuss
Now, let's don't lose our tempers.
Well, what about that psychiatrist that testified? He said temporary insanity was possible in this case.
But he said Clyde Avery was as sane as any of us.
Well, but shouldn't we consider Clyde Avery's mental condition at the time of the shooting? After the stories he heard about his wife. After all... Well, how would you feel under those conditions, Mr. Vale?
Me? Well, what do you mean by that?
Well, now. We are supposed to consider these
Avery
things.
pulled the trigger. That's intent, ain't it?
I wouldn't let Smith bother you, Mrs. Carmichael.
Some of these people are beginning to get on my nerves. Be glad when it's over.
It's been a long trial.
Yes. Poor man downstairs, Clyde Avery, sitting there day after day, squirming, waiting, watching us, wondering about our verdict. We're doing the best we can. What's the matter, Mr. Donovan?
Well, from the way you're talking, you might be the one holdout.
Me? Oh, Warren.
No, don't tell me. I don't want to know. You see, Mrs. Carmichael, if you are the only one who thought he wasn't guilty, then I've got to talk to you.
To me? Why?
Because I'm not really sure he's guilty either.
You're not?
No. I let the others influence my thinking, but...
Well, I...
No, wait,
really...
please, let me finish. I've been waiting for a chance to talk to you alone. I need your advice, Mrs. Carmichael.
You do?
Yes, there's so many contradictions. Now, you take that business about the struggle when the gun went off.
Oh, do you think there was a struggle?
Well, I didn't at first, but the medical examiner said the bullet entered the victim's chest traveling down. Avery would have had to hold the gun over his head, pointed down to give the bullet that direction of travel, like this, you see? It's ridiculous. It's too awkward. Might miss.
But the direction of the bullet was downward.
Then the gun went off as they both fought for it over their heads. It's the only answer.
But his wife said there wasn't a struggle.
I haven't believed a word of her testimony. I've known women like her. I know the type.
Really?
My verdict was wrong. If you voted not guilty, you were right, Mrs. Carmichael. Trust a woman's intuition, I've always said.
I didn't say I voted not guilty.
I know. But if you did... Oh, wait. Here's the course instructions now. If, when you retire to the jury room for your verdict and the evidence considered as a whole leaves in your mind a reasonable doubt, Mrs. Carmichael, arising either from the evidence or lack of evidence of the guilt of the accused, then you should vote not guilty. You see?
A reasonable doubt.
Look at the others. They're still arguing points. None of them can honestly say there isn't a reasonable doubt in their mind.
I suppose not.
Well, you'll have allies after the next ballot, Mrs. Carmichael. You wait and see.
You think the others will change their minds?
Look at Mr. Vale.
He seems upset.
And Mrs. Medina.
Yes. And Miss Keller, still going over her notes.
Yeah, she needs help, too.
Why don't you talk to her?
I will. And you should help Mrs. Medina see this more clearly.
Poor thing. She said herself that she couldn't make a decision without her husband's help. I think I will talk to her.
Just help her to understand as you've helped me, Mrs. Carmichael.
I will. All right.
Good. We can't let an innocent man go to the gas chamber. You've made me see that.
No, we can't. We can't do that.
There's only one person.
Glad you opened the window. Stuffy in here, Mr. Donovan.
Yes, it is, Miss Keller. Still going over your notes?
Oh, yes.
What's the matter?
Well, it's these notes. So many contradictions. Each witness has a different story.
Then someone must be lying.
I know. But who should we believe? Clyde Avery or his wife?
What's your impression of the wife?
I don't like her. She's too much makeup.
You don't trust her?
No.
No, I'm glad you said that. To be honest with you, I don't either.
You don't? Well,
then she's the one who must be lying. We both feel it.
Yes. I suppose we do, but...
Well, certainly a reasonable doubt exists, Miss Keller.
Mr. Donovan, are you going to change your verdict?
No, I think I should. But I don't like going against all the others.
If that's the way you feel, then you must.
Maybe you're right. I've got to think about it. All of us are jumping to conclusions quickly. I wish Mr. Muncie wouldn't rush.
I know. I don't know how I'll vote if he tries for another ballot before lunch. I'm so confused now.
Well, I'll leave you to your notes, Miss Keller. Maybe I can get Muncie to hold off until after lunch.
A good idea. Thanks.
Well, anything wrong with Miss Keller, Donovan?
No.
She seems upset.
Some people aren't up to this sort of thing, I suppose.
Wouldn't say that. Doing the best they can to get the job done.
Of course. You know, you're doing a good job, too, Muncie, as foreman.
Doing the best I can.
You certainly are.
I was hoping we could talk a little before lunch.
The bailiff will be up soon. Maybe we'd better take a ballot first, see how things are going.
Maybe you're right. Folks, can I have your attention, please? I think we should try another ballot before lunch. Now, if you'll just sit down as before, choose either guilty or not guilty, then hold your ballot and pass them down to me, please. Here's one, Mrs. Medina. Is there plenty of paper
Can I have
down
it,
there? All right. Go as fast as you can, please. Just hold them, pass them. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Here.
Hope this is the last time.
Well, I hope it is, too. Have I?
That's it.
All right, now, have I got all the ballots?
Yeah.
Mr. Donovan, you might keep count as I read them.
Surely.
All right. Guilty. Guilty. And guilty. Guilty. Not guilty.
Oh, no.
Guilty. 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 Not guilty.
Another.
Not guilty.
Oh.
And not guilty.
8-4.
What's the matter with you people? We'll never get out of here at this rate.
Mr. Vale, you don't have to shout.
Well,
people have a right to change their minds if they want to.
I had a wild desire to stand up and clap my hands together. 8-4. 4 of us now. Mrs. Carmichael, Mrs. Medina, Miss Keller, and myself. I realized that I was smiling. And then I noticed that Mr. Muncie was watching me, frowning. And he'd seen me smile. I wondered if he knew, if he suspected. Back in the jury room after lunch, I tried to analyze my own thinking. A reasonable doubt still existed. My verdict was clear. Clyde Avery was not guilty. The others simply had to see it that way, or I was neglecting my duty as a juror. Yes, what I was doing was morally right. I looked around the room and noticed Mr. Vale on his way to the water cooler again. He gulped water down, then checked his watch with the clock on the wall.
Donovan, is the clock right?
Well, it's a little slow, maybe.
What must be waiting for? Why don't we get started?
Well, they've started. He's letting folks talk to each other for a while.
Have you got a cigarette?
Oh, yeah. Here you go.
Thanks. Donovan, what do you think? Are we going to get out of here tonight?
I wouldn't bet on it.
What do you mean?
Some of the jurors are changing their minds.
Why can't we get together on a verdict?
Is getting home tonight more important than a just verdict?
Yes. I mean, to me. All right.
Would it help to talk about it?
Look, it's my wife, Edna. We've been arguing, saying things we didn't really mean. She said she was going to leave me.
Well, leaving her alone tonight might give her a chance to think
If
it all
I'm not
over.
home tonight, she'll think I don't care. And she will leave me.
Oh, I see.
I don't want Edna to leave. I love her. How am I going to get along without her?
Gosh, I don't know what to tell you, Bill.
You see why I got to get out of here tonight, don't you?
Sure, of course. But so many of them are changing their minds. To be honest with you, Bill, I'm changing my verdict on the next ballot.
Well, then talk to them, Donovan. They'll listen to you. These people got a lot of respect for you.
I'll try.
Thanks. Say, do you think the bailiff would let me make a phone call?
I don't know.
Well, maybe if I could just talk to Ed now.
You might ask him, but I doubt it.
You got another cigarette?
Sure. Here, take the pack. I got plenty. We had an understanding now. Mrs. Carmichael was chatting at the table with the two housewives, Mrs. Lester and Mrs. Lawrence. She winked at me as I passed. I winked back. She was making progress. I joined small groups around the room. They were like weather vanes. They go whichever way the wind seemed to be blowing. I gave each of them something to think about. 2 o'clock. 3:30. Then I sat down next to the obstinate old Mr. Smith. We got to talking, and I kept an eye on Mr. Vale.
Now, look here, Donovan. You keep harping on that temporary insanity. You one of them that voted for an acquittal?
Well, I don't mind telling you how I voted. I did change my mind on that last ballot.
I thought so.
And do you know why?
No.
Because I believe a man can go insane temporarily.
Oh, you do? Huh?
Just as sure as we're sitting here. Now, Mr. Smith, a man's mind is a complex instrument. A small thing can unbalance it and upset a man's reasoning, and it can happen just like that.
Just like that?
Yes, sir. It could happen to anyone. To you, to me, Mr. Muncie, even Mr. Vale over there.
Yeah, well, I'd have to see it before I believe it.
Well, I'm not trying to change your mind, Mr. Smith. Only you can do that. I changed mine. I was wrong before and willing to admit it. We're all trying the best.
Wait a minute, Vin. What's he doing?
Who?
Mr. Vale. He rang the buzzer for the bailiff.
I don't know.
Well, I've been watching him. He can't sit still. Always smoking, pacing back and forward.
The bailiff.
Somebody ring for me? I did, bailiff. I wonder if I could make a short phone call.
No, sir. Sorry.
Well, I just want to call my wife.
The judge wouldn't permit it, sir. Sorry.
I won't mention the trial. You can listen in if you want to.
Nothing I can do until you've brought in a verdict.
Well, we may be here all night.
And we'll have to lock you up, sir.
Oh, no, you're not locking me up. What's the matter with you? Let go of me. What do you want? Mr. Vale, you can't do that. I gotta get home to my wife.
Take it easy.
Somebody grab his arm.
Donovan, give me a hand.
I got him. All right, now
tell him
relax.
about Edna.
Now.
Settle down, Vale. He's all right now, bailiff. We'll take care of him. Go! Here we are.
Can you handle him?
Yes, we can handle him now. Bailiff, I hope this won't cause trouble.
Oh, no. Just keep him quiet.
He'll be all right.
Vale, have a drink of water.
There you are. Glass of water. Just leave me alone. Here, come over here and sit down. You better. There's no sense in
I've never seen anything like it. He was just sitting there, minding his own business, and
Just like that. It happened.
went plumb crazy.
Temporary insanity, Mr. Smith.
Huh?
Mr. Muncie.
Yes?
Don't you think it's time for another ballot?
Or see if the others want one?
I think you probably would.
All right. But this time we'll have an open ballot with a show of hands.
Well, that suits
Unless you have some objections, Mr. Donovan.
Objections? No, not at all, Mr. Muncie.
All right. You count the vote?
Glad to.
Now then, each of you in favor of a verdict of not guilty, raise your right hand.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 votes not guilty.
And in favor of a verdict of guilty,
1 vote.
11 to 1. 1 holdout. And now that you know who it is, Mr. Donovan, You just see if you can make me change my mind, too.
Mr. Muncie, I can't make you change your mind. Only you can do that. Each of us must vote the way he believes.
I believe that this was a planned and premeditated act of murder, and the evidence proves it.
You're the only one who thinks so, Mr. Muncie. The only holdout.
You
can't say a reasonable doubt doesn't exist. It does. Yes, so how can you say he's guilty? All of us want to do the right thing. You must be wrong.
Now, look, out of here in a minute if you change your verdict, Muncie.
I think it's a case of temporary insanity. Clear cut.
Mr. Muncie, it isn't a sin to admit that you were wrong. All of us searched our hearts and realized our mistakes, and we changed our minds.
You changed your mind. You. Why, your minds were changed for you. You were led like a bunch of blind sheep. And there's your good shepherd, Mr. Donovan.
Look, Muncie,
I saw you talking to them, confusing them, convincing them that they were wrong before getting them to change their verdict. I knew what you were doing, but I couldn't understand why.
You don't know what you're talking about.
No, I'm not that talking. I'll admit that. Oh, but you are, Donovan. You talked these people right out of an honest verdict. You just knew you were right and everybody else had to see it your way.
Don't be ridiculous. Why would I do a thing like that?
Why? That's a good question. I thought maybe you knew the defendant, a friend of his or something. Maybe there was something about his wife. But that wasn't it.
You're out of your mind.
You think a lot of yourself, don't you? I've never talked to anybody who used the words I, me, or mine as much as you do. Oh, I've known men like you before. They think the world revolves around them. Always think they're right. Never admit they're wrong.
Muncie, I've had enough of this.
You'd do anything to avoid admitting that you were wrong, wouldn't you?
My verdict happens to be the right verdict, Muncie. You're the only holdout here.
You can't stand being wrong, can you? That's why you made everybody change their mind. You can't admit that you're wrong. Not your kind. Oh, no. If you did, you'd begin to wonder about other things, about yourself, and you couldn't take that, could you, Donovan?
You can't talk to me that way, you crummy little nobody. I won't have any more of it. Do you understand?
I'm just getting started. I'm going to talk and keep talking until these people get a chance to do what's right. You've twisted them around your little finger, made fools of them all, but it's not too late. And what are you going to do about it, Donovan?
Mr. Muncie?
What is it, bailiff?
You folks can go home now. The jury has been dismissed.
What?
Clyde Avery broke down a few minutes ago and pleaded guilty to the charge.
He pleaded guilty?
Yep. Admitted lying on the stand. Asked for the court's mercy by confessing.
But he couldn't have.
He did.
But our verdict was...
Won't need it now, lady.
It's all over?
That's right. You folks can leave.
Wait, folks, before you go. Mrs. Carmichael. Mr. Smith. Please, folks, let me explain. Miss Keller, if you only let me explain.
You made them all very proud of themselves, Donovan.
Muncie,
Will you admit that you were wrong now, Donovan?
I was right. It was right. It was right. I 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 was right.
And now, tonight's presentation of radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense. Tonight, the story of murder in a sealed coal mine. We call it The Cave-In. So now, starring Mr. Ben Wright, here is tonight's suspense play, The Cave-In.
Please.
hurry. Yes, it's the Kaleidoscope scene. I don't know. Put in the call, will you? Mr. Garth, this is Mr. Flowers. Oh, it's a bad fall, Mr. Garth. Most of them got off, but a few are still down there. We don't know how many. I don't think there's been an explosion. Can you come down right away, sir? How is it down there, Will?
I didn't turn around to look, Mr. Flowers. I ran for the sake of my life when I heard it coming.
Haven't you got any idea who's still in it?
Oh, I'm not sure. I was working along with you, Davis, Evan Lewis, and David Owen. I think maybe E4 Williams is with us too, but I can't be certain.
All right. As soon as the dust is cleared a bit, we'll go down. Have any other men come up?
I was the last, I think.
Oh, answer it, will you, Thomas?
Yes, sir.
What's the matter with the thing? Why don't they answer up there?
The fall probably knocked it out. You're wasting your time.
Oh, well, no hard trying, eh? Hello. Wait a bit. Hello. Emlyn, can you hear me? It's David Owen. Yes.
Tell him what happened. Tell him.
Emlyn, there's 4 of us in here. End of the shaft. You, Davis, Evan Lewis, and me. There's Ivor Williams, too, yeah. No. Ivor Williams. But he's dead. And you better have a policeman ready if you ever get us out, because he's been murdered.
I was police inspector in charge of the district, which included Kaleidoscope, a village in South Wales. It was ugly, with the grey ugliness of mining country. Dirty, sullen, with the inevitable poverty. I learned what had happened from the constable who drove me to the mine. There was a light drizzle falling, and it seemed that the entire village was gathered on that desolate spot. I saw Mr. Flowers standing near a shed at the entrance.
Mr. Flowers? What is it, Constable? This is Inspector Glidd, sir. How do you do, sir?
Mr. Flowers, any news?
Relief crew's been down there 2 hours now, sir. Should be coming up any minute.
How are they? Is the 3 in the shaft?
Mostly thirst, from what he says. Air's not too good either.
Get any more details on the murdered man, Williams?
Not much. He complained of a stomachache just before the cave-in and afterwards, before he died. He had convulsions like... At least that's what they say down there.
Well, that sounds like poison.
The shot firer man, David Owen, talked to me on the phone from down there. He says he knows it's poison. He's a St. John's ambulance man.
Any progress getting the others out?
Oh, slow, very slow. It's worrying, very, very loose down there, very loose. If there's another fall, well, you can see we can't afford to blast.
I'd like to go down when you get close enough.
I couldn't allow that, Inspector.
Well, I'm afraid you'll have to. It's my job, you know.
It's too dangerous.
When those men are reached, I want to be on the spot.
I'm not interested in policemen. I've got work to do. Something that might not interest you, mister. Saving lives, not hunting them. Excuse me now.
Mr. Flowers meant no offense, sir. He's worried.
I don't blame him.
There's Will Vaughan just come up from the shaft. Maybe he knows something. Will Vaughan?
Hello.
Any news, Will?
Nothing much.
This is Inspector Glidd. He's here for the murder.
Oh. Well, I'm glad you're here. The chaps and me were talking while we were digging. We thought somebody better know.
No?
About E4 Williams.
About him?
He was no good. No good at all, that E4 Williams. It's better you know the truth than find out lies. That's what the chaps and me decided.
What is the truth?
E4 Williams was a lad with the girls. It was more than one fight he had over it.
Oh.
So it's a great many men in Kaleidoscope who are not sorry to see him gone.
Is that all?
Yes, I'm grieved for his wife, poor woman. She was a fool to marry him, but it was for love.
Since you've gone so far, will you name some names?
Oh, it would take a dozen men or more. There's those 3 still in the shaft.
David Owen, for instance. It is his daughter, Glynis, that's the latest trouble. There she is, standing by Mr. Flowers, over there, the dark girl.
Oh? Aoife Williams was interested in her?
Interested? From the talk of the women, it is more than that. David Owen swore he'd give Williams a terrible beating if he didn't stay away from his daughter.
I see.
Then you, Davis, that is Glynis's man. They are to be married. You knows about the talk. He had a proper rage about it. Oh, poor chap, it does him little good now.
You know that you've given those two men a motive for murder?
Now, that's only two. What about Evan Lewis? They fought for 2 days before the fall. And I can go on with more.
You may have to, when the time comes.
It will be the whole village you can arrest before you are done. It is a great waste of time. Make your report that he died in the fall. It will save you the trouble.
The day passed, and it became dark. Floodlights blazed down on the mine entrance, and the crews went down, then came up again. The women brewed tea, made food for the men. Another day came, and the voices of those who were trapped behind tons of coal and dirt were suddenly gone. The telephone line had failed. At 3 o'clock in the afternoon, the superintendent sent word to me that the next crew expected to break into the shaft. I was given clothing and a helmet. Then a few minutes later, the coal truck was rolling down the lines deep into the mine. Mr. Flowers and Will Vaughan were among those with me.
All right, boys. Mind your head, sir.
I will.
We're shoring up with timbers as we go. That's the job of the shifters over there.
All right, easy now. We shouldn't have more than a dozen feet to go, but slow. Slow's the word. You two start with a fix. We'll take turns. Oh, if you must be here, you must, Inspector, but stand out of the way.
Give me a shovel. I can help.
Policeman in the pits. All right, there's one on the truck. Wait a bit.
You'd have made a miner. You would.
I was once. I think it's easier being a policeman, is it?
Try again. See if you can get an answer, Will. You hear anything?
No. There! I heard it. They're all right.
Here, give me the pick. I'll have a go for a bit.
Oh, thanks. I'm about done.
We were working in a tunnel now big enough for only 2 men at a time. One working with pick, one carrying the dislodged dirt and rock to the entrance. It was a shaft within a shaft. The men could only work a few minutes at a time, and it was our turn, Will Vaughan and myself. We measured our progress by inches, lying on our stomachs, hacking at the unyielding earth, ducking as a miniature landslide fell about, coughing in the dust it raised. Will Vaughan had crawled to the tunnel entrance when my pick lodged in a seam. I tugged at it, and then I'm through!
Are you all right in there?
Yes. Can we get out?
I hope you brought some water with you.
We did. Bring some water in.
Yes, we're bringing it.
Can you walk?
All of us except Ivor Williams. Come on, I don't want to look at him anymore. I'll drink outside.
What's that?
Come on, it's another fall. Come on! It was such a very little tunnel, wasn't it? And it took you so long to make. Now it's gone. What a shame you didn't bring in some water with you.
We stood there, heads bent a little, looking at what had once been the way to safety. 3 feet inside the tunnel, it was black with the solidity of a wall. I knew that the tunnel was 12 feet long, and there was no way of knowing how much of the mine had caved in beyond. I turned away. The dead man, Eva Williams, lay huddled in a corner. When I looked at him, I knew it was poison. The blue lips, fingernails. And as I moved away, I suddenly realized how thirsty I was.
Might as well sit down and wait.
Have you got a cigarette?
Yeah.
No, it'll make you more thirsty.
You should have brought water in with you.
I am sorry.
Oh, it's not your fault.
What happened to the telephone?
They don't know. They were trying to find out when I came down.
Oh, well, it's not too bad. The air's better now. They'll get through again.
What's your name?
There. Glid. Harry Glid.
He's the district inspector, Huey. Didn't you know?
Then that's a very dirty-faced policeman you are.
Yes. What about him?
The dead one? Oh, we've talked about it. The boys.
What difference does it make now?
It's the law, Hugh. A person doesn't kill. That's the law.
You think you know who did it?
Yes.
Remember now, I'm not agreed to it. Don't forget that.
Nor I.
His wife, Catherine Williams. She stood more than a body can bear, and I, for one, hold no blame.
Why do you think she did it? I mean, proof.
Because of my daughter, Glynis.
Don't say it, Mr. Owen. Don't say it.
There are a number of things I already know, Davis.
Your Glynis never went with him, Mr. Owen. It's a dirty lie, made up by a lot of chattering old women with nothing better to do.
She's my daughter, Hugh. I would feel it as much as you. I say it's true. Catherine Williams found out, and it was too much for her.
That still isn't proof.
No, it isn't. Catherine couldn't do a thing like that. She didn't.
I heard him. I heard him in the pub. He was drunk and laughing.
He may have tried to make up to her, but she wouldn't have let him. I was angry at the time, but Glynis wouldn't have let him. We are engaged.
Nobody's arguing about that, Hugh Bark. Let me finish. He was saying that he had some money put away, that as soon as there were a few more pounds, he was going to divorce Catherine and take Glynis away with him.
That's silly. Loud talk. You know it, Mr. Owen. That's all it was.
Maybe, but if the word got back to Catherine Williams, what then?
So then Catherine Williams killed him. And here we are. And who will be there to testify against her? Oh, I wish I had a drink of water.
Now and again we tried the phone, but there was no sound. We sat in darkness a good deal, conserving the batteries in our lamps. And there was always the dead man in the mine. None of us wore a watch, and after a little while, time became something that was only counted in the remembrance of what seemed an age ago. They had been without water for nearly 2 days, and I knew what a torture it was becoming. My own mouth was dry and bitter. May have been hours, may have been another day. We took turns at the little tunnel, tearing at the loose dirt and rocks with our hands. And we became tired very quickly.
It's funny.
What?
I remember last week. I went to the tap and drank a glass of water. And then I filled the glass again because I thought I was still thirsty. But I wasn't anymore, and so I threw it away. I threw away the lovely water. Oh, it made a cool sound.
That's enough.
If I want to talk about water, Evan Lewis, I shall talk about water. It is a great comfort for me.
Well, not for me. Shut up.
You are not telling me to shut up.
Look, you know, this isn't going to do any good. Save your strength.
What for? So that we can die more slowly?
You Try the telephone again. It may be working.
As soon as I get my breath. In a minute.
I'll do it.
No. Nothing.
Oh, well. I'm going to have a bit of sleep. Put out the light.
Why doesn't he stop staring at me? Easy, man, easy. He's not staring. We've covered his face. No, he's staring. Look at him. Make him stop.
Oh, you can't even see him, Evan. There's no light. The dead can do you no harm. Oh, now, try to sleep. It will make the time pass sooner.
I'm going to dig again. I'm not going to sit here to die. Give me a hand, Mr. Lid.
Our hands were bleeding, and every handful of rock and coal and dirt was an agony to pull away. The darkness was never ending. And as our batteries began to fail, it became a terrifying, alive thing. It was you, Davis, who found the tea can. It glinted dully in the orange glow of his lamp.
Look! Oh, look at this, boys. Listen to it.
It's a tea can.
Wet. Oh, it's wet. Did you ever hear a lovely sound like it?
We can measure it out. There's enough there. You chaps first. I'll miss this round. You've been here longer.
Share and share. Be careful you don't spill it.
The lid's jammed. There. You can't have it. Give it back, Evan. Give it to me.
Don't be an idiot. There's enough for all. You'll have your share.
No, stay back. Stand where you are, or I'll pour it out.
Evan!
No.
You drink one drop of that, Evan Lewis, and I'm going to kill you.
Come along now. You can have the first drink. That's all right. It's all right.
It is. It's Igor's. He's dead. He doesn't need it anymore. And he's left enough for us all. Thank you, Igor. Thank you.
He's gone mad.
I'm going to sit here with my tea. And you'll all watch me, but you can't have any. No, don't come near. Don't come near.
All right.
We can't let him.
Hush you back.
Have a sip and then pass it, eh, Louis, man?
Oh, no. I'm keeping it.
Go on, then. But don't forget, Evan. When we are outside, I am going to kill you. You remember what I say? You will not be fit to live.
What's the matter with him? Why doesn't he drink then and have done?
I wonder.
Stay there. Don't come near.
Why don't you drink it? If you're not going to, give it to us.
No. It's mine. Stay away. I'll pour it out.
Go on, then. Pour it out.
I will. Stay away.
Why don't you drink it? Shall I tell you why? Because I think you know what's in it. You can't drink it, can you?
Yes. If I want to, I will, too.
E4 Williams drank some of that tea, didn't he? Before he died.
I don't know. Don't you come closer to me.
Drink it, then. Go on.
I will. But if you come closer, I'll pour it out. Then no one will have it.
Don't. He means it, Mr. Lid.
What did you put in that tea before you came down?
Nothing.
Then why are you afraid?
I'm not.
There isn't much choice, is there? You're dying of thirst, but if you drink, you'll die of poison. Is that it?
No.
You know, if we want to get it, we can. Not enough will spill out. Why don't you give it to me now?
I can't.
You killed him, didn't you? Give it to me.
No, you're not going to have me. I'll drink it, see?
Don't, Mr. Glade. Come back here. Don't do it, Evan. Don't. We'll stand by you.
Get away from me.
way, Evan. Why did you do it?
He was wicked, and ungodly. He deserved to die. He was cruel. He made my life a misery. I was engaged to Catherine 10 years ago, and he stole her from me. He deserved to die. Oh, the way he treated her.
Oh, I'm sorry, Evan. I am sorry.
It doesn't matter anymore. We'll not get out anyway. It's better to go quickly by drinking this.
No, don't, Evan.
The telephone. Hello?
Hello, Mr. Glade?
Yes.
Are you all right?
Yes, we all are.
We'll be to you soon. It wasn't a bad fall, only a few feet. The men are clearing away now. Hold on.
Thank you. Thank you very much. They'll be through in a few minutes. We waited, watching, listening. Evan Lewis crouched away from us, the spout of the tea can raised to his lips.
Look, it's breaking through.
They'll not hang me. They'll not.
Stop it.
Stop! No. Let him do it. It's better that way.
Oh, me.
No, you help me.
I've got him.
It's poison. He's drinking the poison. You're letting him die. You're killing him.
It's better this way. You can let him go now, Huey.
Thank you, Owen. Thank you.
We were brought to the surface, but it was useless for Evan Lewis. The doctor worked over him, and for the second time, his life was saved. Saved with a trial, which convicted him of murder.
Suspense, in which Mr. Ben Wright starred in tonight's presentation of The Cave-In. Next week, another terrifying and provocative story by Mr. Ray Bradbury. We call it Kaleidoscope. That's next week on Suspense. Suspense is produced and directed by Anthony Ellis, who wrote tonight's script. The music was composed by René Garrigan and conducted by Wilbur Hatch. Featured in the cast were Richard Peel, Tudor Owen, Jay Novello, Joe Kearns, John Dodsworth, and Charles Davis.
Listen while you work. The Road of Life is here on the CBS Radio Network.
And now, tonight's presentation of radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense. we depart from the usual to bring you a play from one of the greatest authors of science fiction, Mr. Ray Bradbury. It is the story of a last voyage in a spaceship and the 6 men who took it. So now, starring Mr. William Conrad, here is tonight's suspense play, Kaleidoscope.
She was a spaceship cargo carrier, 7 years old, with over 1.5 million miles lost in her wake. Within her metallic skin was the world of the crew, an atom of life surrounded by a vast expanse of nothingness. The ship and the crew were owned by the company, a third-class vessel operated by third-class personnel, and each of us hoping that in our day would come promotion to second class, or even to first in the great hushed passenger liners, which were also owned by the company. The company ran everything. There wasn't anyone else to work for, and you accepted what was given, not gratefully, but with hope. There were 19 of us to begin with on a routine voyage. Our cargo, seasoned lumber. I was at control on the second day out, Stone navigating.
On the nose.
Good. Control, bearing mark, Captain.
Right. Hollis, where's the captain?
In his cabin.
On the bottle again, huh?
Why didn't you ask him?
I don't have to, Stoney. I can smell him all the way out.
You want something, Applegate?
Sea tube blowing again.
It isn't showing on the indicator.
I can't help that.
Wait a minute. Captain, control.
Yeah.
Applegate reports sea tube blowing, sir.
Oh?
It doesn't show on the indicator, sir.
All right. I'll be right there.
Now, what was the idea of that?
What?
Telling him it didn't show. You trying to louse me up?
You better keep check on that tube.
Who's giving orders?
I am.
My sash to you, friend.
Oh, come on, Applegate. I don't want to blow up. I've got 2 weeks of pay coming when we get back.
Yeah, give me a power check, will you?
Sure.
Something must be haywire with the indicator.
Get it straightened out, Hollis?
Now, she's not firing in sequence, sir. Heating up, too.
Let me see. I don't like this. Rockets, this is the captain.
Simpson, sir. It's C-tube, I think. Heating the others, too. Lock-off's frozen.
Use emergency.
Stand by.
Come on, come on.
Control, this is Applegate. Emergency doesn't answer. It's getting too hot.
Maybe it'll answer from here, sir.
Applegate, get your men out of there. Stand by to abandon.
She's going, Kurt. Shall I sound the alarm?
Yes. This is the captain. This is the captain. Get into your suits. You've got about 2 minutes, maybe less. Get into your suits. The ship is going to explode. Get into your suits. Abandon. Abandon. Get into your suits. Get into your suits.
The concussion cut the spaceship up the side like a giant can opener. Those of us who weren't immediately killed were thrown into space like wriggling silverfish, scattered into a dark sea. And the ship, in a million pieces, went on, a meteor swarm seeking a lost sun.
Captain! Stone!
The sound of our voices calling like lost children on a cold night.
Captain! Who called? Hollis. Hollis, this is Stone. Hello!
Don, this is Hollis. Where are you?
I don't know. How can I? Which way is up? I'm falling. Oh, God, I'm falling. We're going away from each other.
Who is that? This is the captain. Who is that?
Lester! Captain! Where are you? Captain!
We were hurtling in space in every direction. And now, instead of men, there were only voices. Voices communicating by radiophone. All kinds of voices, disembodied and impassioned in varying degrees of terror and resignation, all moving away from one another. We were wearing our sealed-tight spacesuits with glass tubes over our faces, but there hadn't been time to lock on the propulsion units. Not time enough. And without them, we were meteors, senseless, each going to a separate and irrevocable fate.
This is the captain. I want a roll call. Who is that?
This is Applegate.
Sir, Applegate.
Next.
Lespare.
Who?
Lespare.
Simpson.
Lespare. Simpson.
Stone.
Hollis.
Anybody else? Anyone else?
Stone to Hollis. How long can we talk the phone?
Well, it depends on how fast you're going your way and I'm going mine.
An hour, I make it. What happened?
The rocket blew up. Didn't you feel it? That's all. Rockets do blow up. Which way are you going?
It looks like I'll hit the moon.
Well, it's Earth for me.
That's nice.
Back to old Mother Earth at 10,000 miles an hour. I'll burn like a match when I hit the atmosphere. Well, Stone's going to the moon. I know where I'd like to see Applegate go.
I don't want to die. I don't want to die. It's a long way down.
Who's that? I don't know.
Stimson, I think. Stimson, is that you? This is Hollis.
It's a long, long way, and I don't like it. I don't like
Stimson, this is Hollis, Stimson. Do you hear me? Stimson?
Yes?
You take it easy now.
I don't want to be
We're all
here.
in the same fix.
I don't want to be here. I'm afraid.
There's a chance we'll be found.
I heard that. Oh, what a liar you are, Hollis.
You shut up, Applegate.
But come and make me. Come on, Hollis. Come and make me shut up. I don't believe this. I don't believe any of this is happening. Not to me. It's a bad dream.
Now, take it easy, Stimson.
Hey, you know, I don't feel so bad.
Who's that?
It's me, Stone Lespare. I was just thinking. I've had a pretty good time. Lots of good times. Hey, did I ever tell you about my wife?
Which one?
Who's that?
Applegate.
Oh, sure. How do you feel, Applegate?
Oh, why don't you shut up?
No kidding. About my wife, the one on Mars. Did I ever tell you?
That's enough. This is the captain. We've got to figure a way out of this. Make a plan.
I sash to you, Captain.
What did you say?
Oh, you heard me. Don't try pulling rank on me. You're 10,000 miles away by now.
You listen to me, Applegate.
Consider this a mutiny of one, Captain. Hang me. Kill me. But I want to tell you something. Your ship was a bad ship, and you were a bad captain, and I hope you break wherever you're going.
I'm ordering you to stop, Applegate.
Be my guest. Order me some more. You're going to put me in chains till we land? Our sash to you, Captain.
Hey, fellas, let me tell you about my wife, the one on Venus. It doesn't matter now. I guess anybody can know now. Oh, listen, I had it real good. One wife on Mars, another on Venus, one on Jupiter. Oh, boy, what a time. Hey, Stone.
Yeah?
Remember the time we put into Marsport for repairs?
I remember.
Well, that's when I met the first one. You know what those Mars girls are like. Well...
Lespare went on and on with his talk about his wives. An interplanetary bigamist. His money, his wonderful times, drunkenness, gambling. On and on, while we fell in space away from each other. Lespare reminiscing on the past, happy while he fell to his death. Space. Thousands of miles of space and the voice vibrating in the center of it. No one visible at all, only the radio waves quivering and trying to quicken other men into emotion.
I tell you, when a man's had a life like I've had, it's not so bad. Not much left for me to do, I guess.
Men, this is the captain. I want you to know that I'm very grateful for your loyalty. You've been a good crew. Hollis, Stone, if you get out of this, I have you both posted for a promotion. It'll go through when you report. Applegate, I wish that...
Captain? Captain?
And the one, a meteorite got him. Any takers?
Hollis, can you think of something to do?
Why ask him, Stimson? I'll tell you something to do. Make it quick, easy. Open the valve on your suit. We're finished, all of us. Who cares? No one's going to cry over me.
and we fell through space. 5 of us living, each in his orbit of loneliness, moving away from the other. From this outer edge of my life, looking back, there was one remorse, and that, only that I wish I could go on living.
All dying people feel that way, Hollis.
What? Oh, Stone, I didn't know I was thinking out loud. Funny, as if I'd never lived.
Yeah, I know. Hollis? Hey, Hollis.
What is it?
Samplegate again.
All right, what?
Let's you and me talk, huh?
Go ahead.
You hate my guts, don't you?
I never thought much about it.
Now, don't give me that. You with that superior way of yours. I want to tell you something. I was the one who blackballed you with the rocket company 5 years ago. Did you hear me?
I heard you.
Well, how does that make you feel?
Nothing.
You wanted to get to the top all your life, I know. I'll bet you always wondered what happened. Well, it was me. See, I put the black mark on you before I was tossed out myself.
It isn't important.
Well, I had a good time. Yeah, it's a good thing to think about, too. I had a wife on Mars, Venus, one in Jupiter.
So you said, Mr.
And I'm saying it again. I like to think about it. They all had money, too. Oh, yes, they treated me just fine. You know, once I got drunk and gambled $20,000. $20,000 in one night. Just like that. Oh, it's been a good life.
But you're here now, Despair. I didn't have any of those things. I was jealous of you. Funny little man. How did you rate it? The women, the good times. Women frightened me. And I went into space always wanting them. Jealous of you for having them. And money. And as much happiness as man could want. And I'm not jealous anymore, though. Because it's over for you just the way it is for me. Now it's like it never was. It's all over, Despair. It just never was. Do you hear me, Despair?
Who's that?
It's Hollis. Do you hear me? You're out here, Despair, falling, dying. It's all over. It's just as if it never happened, isn't it?
No. It happened.
When anything's over, it's just like it never happened. Where's your life any better than mine now, huh? Now's what counts. Is it any better? Is it?
Yes, it's better.
How?
Because I've got my thoughts. Good thoughts. I remember.
Thoughts. What good? What good are they? You going to be rescued? You going to live more than a few hours?
I'm resting easy. I've had my turn. I'm not getting vicious at the end. Not like you.
Vicious? Vicious?
Take it easy, Hollis.
I know how you feel, Hollis. I don't take it personally. You're all right. I always thought that.
Hey, what?
What's the matter?
I can see something.
Stone?
Yeah, I can see lights. They look like lights. Where? What? Where? Where are you?
Must be a ship. Maybe they'll see us. Which way are you going, Stone?
It's lights, I tell you. I can see them plain. Which way? Which way? Where are you, Stone? Where? Guess what?
Huh? What? Stone?
What?
I
got myself into a meteor swarm, little asteroid.
Meteors?
Yes, I think it's the Myrmidon cluster. You know, Hollis, the one that goes out past Mars and in toward Earth once every 5 years. Well, I'm right in the middle.
Stone?
It's like a big kaleidoscope. That's what I thought with the light. All kinds of colors and shapes. It's beautiful. All that metal. I'm going with them. They're taking me with them. I'll be...
Stone!
So long, Hollis. So long.
Good luck, Stone!
Don't be funny.
I looked. There was nothing. Only the great diamonds and sapphire and emerald mists and velvet inks of space. And then in the sudden calmness of his going, there was a kind of wonder in the thought of Stone going off in the meteor swarm. Out past Mars for years and coming in toward Earth every 5 years, passing in and out for the next million centuries.
Hollis? This is Lespare. You all right?
Yes, I'm fine.
I can't hear you so good. You there? Hollis?
This is Hollis. I'm okay. You?
Hollis, there must be something wrong with the phone. Hollis? Can you hear me? Say something, will you?
Turn up the booster. Turn up your booster.
Hollis, can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Hey, that's fine now, yeah. Oh, I thought you were gone. Who are you talking to?
The Stone.
Hey, who else is around?
Applegate. Applegate.
I'm here.
Stimson. Stimson.
Hey, Stimson. I guess he's gone, too.
Spare, can you see anything?
I wasn't looking, I was thinking. I figure I'll hit Mars. Mars. Wouldn't that be something if I landed in the wife's backyard? She'd get a kick out of that. That's pretty funny, huh?
Is that you, Applegate?
No. I thought it was you.
Hollis?
No, it must be Stimson. Stimson? Stimson?
I want to wake up! Mama! Mama, I want to wake up!
Make him stop, will you?
Stimson.
Shut him up!
Stimson! Stimson, will you listen to me? Now, Stimson, listen to me. Applegate's right. It'll be easier. You open your valve. Open it. Listen to me, Stimson. Open your valve. Now. Do it now. It won't hurt. Only a second, Stimson. Open your valve, Stimson.
Hollis? Applegate?
Yeah.
Has he gone?
I guess so.
Oh. Hey, anybody know what time it is?
Oh, what do you care?
What'd you say? Applegate. The boost is fading. What did you say?
I don't know.
Oh, well, I guess it doesn't matter. Habit, I suppose. You mind if I keep talking? Kinda passes the time.
The goodbyes, voices dying, men dying. The awareness of life, my own. What can I do? Is there anything I can do to make up for a terrible and empty life? If only I could do one good thing to make up for the meanness I collected all these years and didn't even know it was in me.
Hollis? Hollis, this is Applegate.
Yes?
Hollis, that was right what you told Stimson to do. I said it to make him feel bad, but you did it right.
I murdered him.
No, you didn't. Listen, Hollis. This isn't good, this thing between you and me. It's a bad way to die. Are you listening, Hollis?
Yes, I'm listening.
I lied. I didn't blackball you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Listening to your talk when you were saying those things to Lespare about it not mattering, and he said about you being vicious, made me ashamed. I've been like that, too.
It's all right. I understand. Can you get Lespare?
No, he was gone an hour ago. Can you hear him?
No. Last thing I heard, he was singing a dirty song.
Quite a guy.
Yeah.
You're fading out.
You too.
What?
I hope everything's okay with you, Applegate. I hope you go to heaven or wherever you want. I hope for you.
You're getting soft, Hollis. Better open your valve. So long.
Take it easy, Applegate.
So long, Hollis.
Don't do anything I wouldn't do.
Applegate! Applegate! So long.
Any time now, I'll hit the Earth's atmosphere. I'll burn and be scattered in ashes all over the continental lands. But I'll be put to use. Just a little bit, but ashes are ashes, and they'll add to the land. I wanted to make something of my life. To be liked. To do good for people. To make them happy. Now it's all gone. I wish I could do a good thing. Just something for me to know about. When I hit the atmosphere, I'll burn like a meteor. I wonder if anyone will see me.
Time for bed, Sonny.
Okay. Hey. Look up there, Mom. A falling star.
I saw it. Make a wish, dear. Make a wish.
Suspense, in which Mr. William Conrad starred in tonight's presentation of Kaleidoscope, written by Ray Bradbury. Next week, the story of two people and the terror that rode with them in the city. We call it Backseat Driver. That's next week on Suspense. Suspense is produced and directed by Anthony Ellis, who adapted tonight's script. The music was composed by René Garrigan and conducted by Wilbur Hatch. Special technical effects by Robert Chadwick. Featured in the cast were Stacey Harris, Parley Bear, Howard McNear, John Daner, Sam Edwards, Georgia Ellis, and Master Jonathan Ellis. This is the CBS Radio Network. And now, tonight's presentation of radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense. Tonight, the story of two people and the terror that rode with them in the city. We call it Backseat Driver. So now, starring Miss Vivi Janis and Mr. Parley Bear, here is tonight's suspense play, Backseat Driver.
It can't happen to you. You read about stuff like that in the papers. Girls murdered and mutilated, drunks left dying in the gutter for the handful of change they had in their pockets. Lonesome old men tortured because some hoodlum gets the idea they're misers with a pot of gold hidden under the floorboards of the shack. Sure, you know it's real, but it can't happen to you. Or you get your fair share of trouble. I've been a professional man here in Los Angeles for 20 years. I've met up with bums and grifters and petty sharpers. They're around in any business. But the viciousness, the real deep-down dirt, that's for somebody else. You do your work and you go home to your family, and for a real bang-up evening to break the monotony, you take your wife out to a movie. That's what I did that Saturday night. We'd driven all the way in from the San Fernando Valley to Beverly Hills for a picture Ellie specially wanted to see.
Wasn't that a good movie, Joe?
Mm-hmm.
Just the kind I like. Songs and dancing and girls in pretty clothes. I get so tired of cops and robbers.
What's wrong with cops and robbers?
Oh, you know what I mean.
murder movies, honestly. All the policemen stupid and all the crooks sneering out of the corners of their mouths.
The stuff those Hollywood boys dream up. You'd think the streets were knee-deep in blood and you couldn't hear yourself think for machine guns.
Well, you get him first, honey.
Okay. I don't think your door's closed tight, honey.
Oh. Oh, don't forget about the gas.
Oh, I got plenty to take us out the valley. I'll fill up at Bill's.
Remember how that song goes, Joe?
What song?
In the picture. You know, Two on the Moon. The one the boy sang to the girl.
Oh, that one. Let's see. She died. Oh, heck, I don't know. No.
Well, we'll hear it again on the radio.
How about turning it on? Set her at KNX. We ought to get some news in a few minutes. I'd like to hear where they caught that fella.
That murderer?
Mm-hmm. They spotted him in L.A. this afternoon, but he got away.
I know, you told us at supper. Makes you shiver.
Oh, don't worry. He won't get away with it. We left the lights of Beverly Hills behind us, and I turned into Coldwater Canyon. It's as quick a way as any to get us across the Hollywood Hills to the valley. It's dark in the canyon, quiet, with mighty little traffic at night. I flipped my lights up full, and we swept up the side of the ridge. The news program came on, but I didn't pay much attention. The fellow was talking about brush fires. They'd already put out the one near my place, so they were still patrolling it. We were over the ridge and sliding down to the valley before the program got to the part I wanted to hear.
The latest news on the New Hampshire murder.
Oh, there it is.
Yes, put up higher, Ellen.
Wiped out an entire family in Greenlee, New Hampshire. Today he was spotted 3,000 miles from the scene of his crime. At 5:30 this afternoon, a patrolman saw and definitely identified Patrick in downtown Los Angeles. However, by darting through heavy traffic at the risk of his life, the killer was again able to make his escape. According to neighbors of the slaughtered family, Patrick first appeared in Greenlee about a year ago. From fingerprints in the Nolan home, Louis Patrick has been identified as Lloyd Matthews, ex-convict. He is wanted for questioning in the robbery and murder of a New York storekeeper a year ago, a crime that netted the killer less than $20. Patrick, or Matthews, is 32 years old, height 5 feet 9 inches, weight 155 pounds. He has blue eyes, light brown hair, nose slanted to the left. When seen this afternoon, he was wearing a blue suit and gray pork pie hat.
Awful. Just awful.
Not pretty, no.
Somewhere around L.A. this minute. Joe. You think it's right us leaving Annie and Bud all alone?
Oh, now, Ellen, Annie's grown up, and Bud can take care of himself. You can't wrap those kids in cotton wool.
I know. I'm silly, I guess. Neighbors close all around. All they'd have to do is yell. Joe, what would make a young man do a dreadful thing like that?
Could be a lot of things. Maybe he's got a screw loose. Maybe he went nuts over a girl. Maybe he gets a kick out of killing like some of them do.
You know what the answer is? Hey, whoa! Keep going. Go on, keep going. I've got a gun here. I'll use it. Now, you just keep going like this and no tricks. Otherwise, I'm going to blow a hole right through your wife's head. I've had experience in these things.
You are listening to Backseat Driver, tonight's presentation in radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense. Remember that phrase. Thursday night, hang on to your chair and bring in the whole family to keep you company, because you'll want some people near you when the Whistler comes around. You'll hear his mysterious whistle open the door to another mystery on most of these same CBS radio stations. And now we bring back to our Hollywood soundstage Miss Vivi Janis and Mr. Parley Bear, starring in tonight's production, Backseat Driver, a tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
I drove that car like we were skirting the rim of the Grand Canyon with nothing between us and the bottom but a mile of country air. This was it. the thing that happens to other people, to the ones that end up on slabs in the morgue. But not to me. Not to Ellie. First car we've seen since we let traffic swoop down behind us. It passed. But not before the headlights caught our passenger clean in my rear view mirror. He was hunched forward, sitting on the edge of the back seat so as he could keep the gun rammed into the nape of Ellie's neck. He had light brown hair, pale eyes, and a nose that slanted. His mouth twitched, jittery. As the car went by, his eyes caught mine in the mirror and flickered.
Keep your eyes on the road.
Sure. Lose your hat?
Bright boy, huh? Like I said, you know all the answers. No, I didn't lose it. I stuffed it down a drain.
Still wearing the blue suit, though.
I figured it changed pretty quick now. Think yours will fit me?
You can have the suit and the car. Just let us.
Shut up. Let's see if you can both be bright enough to keep your trap shut. Turn left on Ventura. Take the slow lane. Don't try playing no tricks. I've been here before.
Okay by me.
That's real white of you. Straight out to open country, Mac. Then I'll take the missus up on that offer, the suit and the car.
What happens to us?
I can just walk home. What else? Play it safe and you ain't got a thing to worry about.
Nothing to worry about. Once we got out into open country, we didn't have a chance of walking away from that car. All a murderer can hope for is time. He doesn't leave witnesses around to get the law on his tail 1 second sooner than necessary. All I could do was stall and pray and make what feeble gestures I could at Lady Luck. The thing that came into my mind was so risky it brought my hair up on end, but there was a chance, provided that trigger finger didn't start jerking. In the bright lights of the boulevard, I didn't think he'd notice, but a traffic officer would. I turned into Ventura and took the far lane, obedient as a whip pup. We must have made 2 or 3 miles before I heard what I was hoping for.
What's that?
An ambulance, I guess. We hear a lot of them here in the valley.
That ain't no ambulance. It's a motorcycle cop.
Joe, it's young Mike Kennedy. He patrols this
Look, what are you up to? What are you trying to pull?
Nothing. The kid's a
You
friend
think
of
you'd get
ours.
me easy, huh? I want you. I ain't going alone. You
Listen, will you? The kid lives near us, practically grew up under our feet. All he wants is to pass the time of day or maybe send a message to our Annie.
Yeah?
Yeah. You start popping down, we'll all be dead. Keep your shirt on and I'll get rid of him.
Okay. But, buddy, it better be good.
I pulled over to the curb and Mike came up alongside. He sat balancing the bike between his knees and the grin on his face was a mile wide. It had worked. At least we were still alive and Mike wasn't 2 feet away. But where'd we go from here? I had to think, but my brain was wet wool and my tongue stuck to the roof of my mouth.
Good evening, sir. Well, what do you know if it isn't Uncle Joe?
Something funny, kid?
Well, after all the times you've read us the riot act about observing the letter of the law. Oh, brother, wait till I tell Annie.
What's the matter with you, Mike? I didn't notice anything wrong.
Hi, Aunt Ellie. Oh, nothing much the matter. Just Uncle Joe here proceeding sedately out the boulevard with his headlights up full.
Headlights? My golly, that's right. I must have forgotten to dim them.
Now, we oughtn't to forget these things. Someday a big bad cop might come along and haul you out to the Oh, hello.
This is our new neighbor, Mike. Mr. Anderson.
All right. Oh, glad to meet you, sir.
Oh.
I didn't know there were any vacancies out our way.
Well, there weren't until recently. Mr. Anderson has taken the Charles place.
The Charles place? You kidding?
No. At last, it looks like things got too much for old man Charles. He's clearing out for good.
Kind of sudden, wasn't it?
Yeah, I guess so.
Oh, it's too bad. For old man Charles, I mean. Mighty nice for Mr. Anderson, though. Good places are hard to find these days. All right, Uncle Joe, I'll let you off this time. Give my love to Annie.
Mike.
Yes, sir?
Watch it.
Nothing. Come see us soon, boy. Always glad to have you.
Oh, thanks. I'll be around my next night off. Got a date with Annie. Well, so long.
that was that. Mike turned his bike and headed back down the boulevard. The chance had come and gone, but it felt to me like half my mind went off of that boy yelling at him. Must have been half a minute before I could pull myself together and ease back into traffic. Nobody said anything. I didn't dare to, and neither did Ellie. I couldn't see her, but I could feel her holding herself stiff as a ramrod, scared even to turn her head. When two people have lived together as long as we have, each one knows what the other one's thinking. I went back to driving and praying. That and cutting my eyes up to the mirror just in case there might be a white motorcycle eye following us. There wasn't, of course. In the back, I knew he was watching, too. Those flickering eyes darting like lightning between us and the rear window. The way I'd figured it, we'd started out with just about enough gas to get us back to Bill's station. When we hit that, the meter ought to show empty. The gas gauge was hidden from me by the rim of the steering wheel, but I was pretty sure I was right. I waited until I saw the red and green lights above Bill's pump a block and a half away, and then very slow and easy, I slumped over for a peek at the gauge. I leaned just a little too far.
Sit up.
Sure.
What now? What were you looking at?
I was just easing the crick out of my neck.
Yes, you were. You were looking at the dash. So that's it, huh? Fresh out of gas.
Now, look, I just remembered it.
Don't give me that. You knew it all along. From now on, you keep your hands on the wheel, Mac, but let me do the driving. And in that filling station, get high-test gas and fill it up.
Hi, Joe. Evening, Ellie.
Hi, Bill.
Evening, Bill.
Oh, evening, sir. Yeah. Up to the top?
Yep. Ethel.
Ethel it is. Here, you've been to the pictures.
Yeah.
You people know everybody in the whole valley.
Well, we've lived here 20 years. From back when this was farmland. Of course we know lots of people.
I don't like it. Just get fired and get out of here.
Make it 5, Bill.
Okay. Say, I was up to Miranda's for supper.
Oh, is that right?
Boy, her chili gets better every time. Don't see how it can, but it does. She's saving some for you, you know. Said you'd be around after the show.
Oh, my. I saw Miranda this afternoon, told her we'd be by for sure, Joe.
Well, that'll be $1.50 on the nose.
$1.50. Yeah, thanks, Bill.
Well, same to you.
What was all that about, that Miranda stuff?
Nothing much.
Come on, I gotta ask you everything twice.
Miranda runs a drive-in up the road a ways. On show nights, we usually drop in for a carton of chili to take home.
I just hope she won't call home when we don't show up and get Annie all worried.
Wait a minute. Drive-in, you said?
Yeah.
And this Miranda could start checking on you?
Oh, no, I didn't mean that. It's just that...
She could call your Annie, and between the two of them, they'd have the cops on the lookout for you before midnight,
Oh,
huh?
you're crazy.
Yeah, like a fox. I ain't kept ahead of the buttons all this time by taking chances. We'll just pick up that chili, Mac.
You want me to go to Miranda's?
Why not? Leave Annie get a beauty sleep. I can cover a lot of ground before tomorrow morning. I ain't eaten so good lately. I could use the food, too. With you and the missus to front for me, what's to worry about?
He was right about that. I went back to driving and praying. Miranda's place is one of those goldfish bowls, mostly glass, with light pouring out across the space marked for outside service. She saw us pulling up, grabbed a quart carton off the back shelf, and hustled to the door.
Here you are, Ellie. I was just saying to Betsy, better fix up that chili, Betsy. It's about time Ellie and Joe were showing up, figuring the distance from Beverly Hills. Oh, who's that in the back seat? I don't seem to recollect your face, young man. Though anybody will tell you, I never forget a face.
Oh, this is Mr. Anderson, Miranda. He just came out from the east.
Oh, is that a fact? Say, Joe, you planning to go straight up Ventura home?
Why, sure.
Well, don't you do it. Go the back way, even if it does take longer. Of course, that brush fire between here and your place is out, but there are still 50, 60 men patrolling it.
What's that?
But that ain't nothing to what's going on further out the valley. That new fire's clean out of control, licking up hundreds of acres. They've been sending truckloads of firefighters past here all evening. Roads blocked for miles, they tell me.
The road is blocked?
For miles, they tell me. All them poor ranchers losing their homes. Being from the East, mister, you wouldn't understand, but brush fires is awful things once they get out of control.
Yeah, thanks. Joe, suppose we start moving, huh? Let's take the back way to your house.
To our house? What say? You staying with Ellie and Joe?
Yeah, until I can get into my own place. What are we waiting for, Joe?
Good night, Miranda.
Well, goodbye. Be sure you come see me, Mr. Anderson. I'll be looking for you.
So there it was. We weren't going to the country. We weren't going to be left to rot at the foot of a cliff or buried deep in brush. No, we were going home. Home to the kids. And taking a murderer with us. I still couldn't see Ellie, but I could feel her tensing up, tight as a pulled drawstring.
Mr. Matrick, you didn't mean what you said, did you, about coming home with us?
You know a better place I can hide out until the road's open?
Well, it wouldn't be safe. We've got neighbors close all around if somebody sees you.
Nobody's gonna see me. Nobody better.
Joe, couldn't we go round the fire?
Yeah, we could. That'd be better. We could try. There are other roads through the valley. Now, listen, Matrick, we'll nose around and find a way through somehow.
Cut it out. You heard the old pity, hundreds of acres burning, firefighters, cops. Get off the highway. We're going home.
No, I won't have it. Joe, you stop the car right here.
Shut up.
You heard me, Joe. I won't have him in my house, not with Annie and Bud.
I said shut up.
But stop it, I tell you. It doesn't matter about us. It's the kids. I won't let him touch
One
them.
more word out of you and I'm...
Joe, stop.
Ellen, shut up.
Joe.
Now, don't say another thing. I'm sorry, honey, but Matrick's the boss. We've got to do like he says.
Yeah, that's telling her. Sure, you do like I say and everything's going to be rosy. You got no call to worry about. The kids are like kids. As long as nobody gives me the brush off. We'll wake them up as soon as we get home. You and this Annie can fix up a chili supper for us. We'll have a picnic. And as soon as the fire's out, we'll all take a trip to the country. Another picnic, huh?
It took a long time, but it had to come to an end. I saw the bulk of the house looming up. There was light sneaking around the edges of the blinds up in Annie's room. She wasn't asleep after all. She'd been sitting up in bed, maybe plastering red stuff on her fingers and dreaming about the date with Mike. Bud's room was dark. He'd be wrapped in covers like a cocoon and dreaming whatever boys dream. I couldn't remember. I pulled up to the concrete walk I'd poured with my own hands before there was any Annie or Bud, and then I cut the light. In a second or two, my eyes got used to the dark. I could make out the high hedge Ellie planted around the place and our roof rising up beyond it.
Out, missus. Face the house. Now you, Mac. Slide out the same side. Stand beside her. All right. Walk to the door. Slow, no funny business. I'm right behind you.
Look out! I'll kill you! Hold it, boy! It's okay, Mike. I got it. You all right, Uncle Joe?
And Ellie? Ellie, you all right?
All right, indeed. Smashed flat on my face on a concrete walk and you falling on me.
There's nothing wrong with her.
That's my girl.
Well, just don't stand there. Help me up.
Here.
There we are.
I've got to get in the house before the kids come busting out here. I won't have them mixed up in this.
Well,
how's he doing, boy?
I got him through the gun hand in the right shoulder, see?
Lucky shot, cop. If you weren't lucky, you'd all be cold meat by now.
Maybe. Matrick, isn't it, Uncle Joe?
That's him. Miranda described him to you?
The old girl doesn't miss a trick. She even knew you were taking the back way home. You left a clear trail, Uncle Joe. That's slick work.
I had to get him out of the car before the fireworks started. Ellie didn't stand a chance. She helped, though. Ellie catches on quick.
I'll bet.
Mean guy like Matrick, you make him think you don't want him to do something, and he'll break his neck doing it. I let on I was trying to run out of gas, and that got us to Bill's. Then we both made out there was no sense going to Miranda's, so we get bowled into going to Miranda's. It was 1,000 to 1 she'd run off at the mouth about the brush fires, scare him into hiding out. After that, all Ellie had to do was turn on the hysterics. He was dead set on coming here.
Yeah, bright boy, like I said.
Yeah, bright enough. You did all right, too, Mike. I was watching the rear view mirror all the time you were trailing us, but you never showed.
You knew I was there, though. When one officer starts double-talking another officer, he wants to know why.
What officer? What double talk? You never said a thing to him except I bought someplace out here.
Yeah. The Charles place.
Yeah, poor old man Charles. In a tough spot. Moving out for good.
What's wrong with that?
Matrick, didn't anybody ever tell you it wasn't smart to take up with strangers? Maybe I'd better introduce myself. My name's Charles. Joe Charles, detective, homicide. Tonight I was off duty, just taking my wife to a movie.
Suspense, in which Mr. Parley Bear and Miss Vivi Janis starred in tonight's presentation of Backseat Driver. Next week, the story of twin identities in crime. It is based upon fact. We call it The Greatest Thief in the World. That's next week on Suspense. Suspense is produced and directed by Anthony Ellis. Tonight's script was written by Miss Sally Thorson. The music was composed by Rennie Garrigan and conducted by Wilbur Hatch. Featured in the cast were Larry Thor, Tony Barrett, Jack Edwards, Joe Cranston, and Helen Fleed. The star's address is the CBS Radio Network.
And now, tonight's presentation of radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense. Tonight, we bring you a story from your newspaper. It is based upon absolute fact. Only certain portions have been dramatized. We call it The Greatest Thief in the World. So now, starring Mr. Ben Wright, here is tonight's suspense play, The Greatest Thief in the World.
The files of Criminal Record Office in Scotland Yard contain two bulky folders, one relating to the evidence against Peter Marriott, the other against a criminal known only as the Squire. Concerning Peter Marriott, we're in possession of a number of facts. Some we gained through our own investigation, others through interested parties. Concerning the Squire, we know a good deal less. That for some 5 years he committed jewel theft amounting to £500,000 is common knowledge. That at no time until the end did we find one scrap of evidence is further stated in the file. The question that the Yard has not been able to satisfactorily answer is whether Peter Marriott and the Squire were one and the same. The case is a mathematical fantasy. For example, we know that Peter Marriott attended a shooting party in the West Riding as a guest of Sir Leslie and Lady Bangry. We know the gist of what transpired, but was the Squire present at that time?
Good shooting, Marriott. Oh, thank you, sir. Mischief, I know how you do it. Every time I get a shot at them, those blinking foxes seem to know it's me.
Oh, it's just bad luck, sir. It'll get better.
But they do, you know. They fly off screaming with laughter. It's old Bambridge. Come on, you chaps. Don't you worry about it.
Oh, really, sir?
Oh, well. Perhaps tomorrow. I'm Frederick.
Right on.
Oh, by the way, been meaning to ask you ever since you got here. It kept in my mind. Anything new in London about that, the Squire chap?
I don't think so, sir. Not since his last call. You've heard about him up here, too, huh?
Well, who doesn't hear about him? It's a disgrace. I can tell you I've read in the letters with time. Parliament should do something.
I understand Scotland Yard's up a tree.
Bunglers. Not like the old days. Hatch the man and give him a horse with him and send him to Dartmoor. That's what we'd have done.
Well, they say he's quite clever.
Clever? Oh, nonsense. Papers are making a hero of the blighter. The Squire. Oh, impudence. Man's not a gentleman, he's just a blasted little jewel thief.
Well, I don't imagine the Honourable Percy Tyndale considers him little.
Oh, yes, that was the last one, wasn't it?
According to the paper, £20,000, an emerald necklace and 2 diamond rings.
Percy's a fool. Always told him so, too. A trial could have opened that safe of his. Let's see this Squire try his game with me. It's a different story, I can tell you.
Well, I imagine it would.
By the way, did you tell me that you used to dabble in the diamond market?
Oh, that was a few years ago, sir. Nothing much.
This evening I must show you 1 or 2 nice little things I bought Lady Pamela lately.
I'd love to see them, sir. 2 days after the shooting party, Sir Leslie Banbridge reported that jewels amounting to the sum of £8,000 had been stolen from his safe. It was the Squire's work. No prints, just the unmistakable method that had tantalized us for 5 years. At that time, there was no more reason to suspect Peter Marriott than the other 18 guests, all of whom had seen the jewels in question. We know now that there was a girl in Peter Marriott's life, a girl whom we felt to be a rather odd acquaintance for a man in his position. Hello, Jenny.
Oh, where you been? Thought you was coming by last week.
Oh, I'm sorry I was away.
With brass knobs on.
No, honestly. I brought you a present.
Well, how you are, Jack.
Well, I missed you. Give me a kiss.
You have missed me, haven't you? Where's the present?
Here.
Oh, Peter. Oh, it's lovely. Oh, thanks ever so. Is it real?
Oh, absolutely. You couldn't find a better ruby anywhere.
It doesn't look real.
Oh, you take my word for it. It is.
Oh, how lovely. Oh, you shouldn't have. Must have cost a packet.
Well, you're my girl, aren't you? Oh, Jenny, look, you see this parcel? I want you to keep it for me just for a little while.
Oh, what is it?
Oh, it's nothing important. You don't have to open it up.
I wouldn't.
Well, as a matter of fact, it's like the other parcel I gave you a few months ago.
Oh, gone. Pictures?
Right.
Oh, you'll get in trouble one of these days, you will. Anyway, I don't believe you. I bet those aren't pictures in there.
Oh?
What do you really do? I mean, for a living.
Oh, well, I told you, nothing very much. Stock exchange. I have some money. Why?
I wondered.
That made you wonder?
Well, I think maybe you're a bit shady.
Oh, what an odd thought.
Is it? Well, what's so odd about it? Why don't you ever take me nowhere? Why do we always have to meet here? Never go dancing and nothing.
Well, Jenny, isn't it nice of you?
No, it ain't. You're ashamed of me because I'm not a swell like you.
Jenny, it isn't that. It's only that I want to be with you alone.
Yes, I don't think.
Well, what do you want me to say then?
I don't know, but there's something funny about you.
Oh?
A man was here the other day.
A man? Who? What do you mean?
Ah, so there is something.
Jenny, tell me about it.
He was just asking about the gent who visited me last night. That was you, Peter.
What did you say?
I told him I wasn't the habit of gassing with strangers and to up it.
Well, what did he look like?
And look here, I don't like the way you're talking like a ruddy copper. I don't think I'm going to tell you anything.
Well, I'm sorry, Jenny, but please, go on.
No, I don't feel like it.
Now, look, I've got to know. It's important.
Dial 999. Ask the police.
I think you'd better tell me.
Sweet me.
What did he look like? Jenny?
Was he all right? Maybe a little thinner, black hair. Looked something like you.
Well, how was he dressed?
I don't know. All right, I suppose. Grey overcoat, bowler. He wasn't a copper, I don't think, if that's what's worrying you. Too polite.
Any name?
No. Said he was a friend of yours from abroad.
said when I saw you to say something about Canada. You know what he meant.
It can't be. He's dead. It can't be.
Immediately following the Banbridge robbery, the squire was inactive. We kept an eye out for the stolen jewels, but as in the past, there was no sign of them. However, we learned one interesting fact, that Peter Marriott had attended several parties given by victims of the squire. Although it was a very slight chance and quite possibly coincidental, we felt it advisable to assign a plainclothesman to watch him. On September 7th, 1949, the detective made his routine report.
Followed suspect to Lion's Tea Shop, Notting Hill Gate. He sat at a corner table, alone. 5 minutes later, he was joined by another man. Was unable to hear the conversation.
Hello, Peter Marriott. Hello. Sit down. Yeah, I don't think I'd have recognized you. You've had quite a job done on your face, haven't you? Yes. Well, rather like old times, eh? What happened? I thought you were... not now, my dear fellow. It's a long story. Don't worry, you'll hear about it. How long have you been in London? Ages. Nearly 6 years. Funny you took so long getting in touch. Yes, isn't it? Well, you look prosperous, I must say. So do you. I suppose that girl told you I'd been inquiring. Yes. Now, I thought it best to make sure. One doesn't want to make mistakes, does one? Look here, will you get to the point? What do you want? Clean, dear fellow, aren't you? All right. First, what about my name? Well, I thought you were dead. There's no harm there. You know I couldn't use my own name after I left Canada. Yes, but my dear fellow, Peter Marriott, there can't be two of us, you know. Why not? Because when I found out 5 years ago that you were calling yourself that, I had to change my name to something else. Well, now I think I want my own back. Well, you can have it. There must be more than a few Peter Marriotts in the world. Definitely, but we're special, you and I. Very special. Oh, you see, I've been reading a lot about you. You're quite a tough. Races, hunt balls, and all that. I've followed you very closely. You can be a great help to me, old man. Great help indeed. What's the game? And we can do business together. Just like old times. I don't think so. But I do. You and I, and the squire.
For the next month, well into October, Peter Marriott, as a suspect, became a dud. He led an exemplary life, and we began to feel that once again we'd made a mistake. He attended several parties, and no robbery attempts followed. However, it was 2 days after a ball given by a wealthy sportsman that our detective assigned to Marriott made his report.
October 28th. Suspect left his flat 5:30 p.m. and walked toward Tube Station. Followed, but lost him. Cannot be certain whether he made this move on purpose or not.
Is that the horse? Yes. Well, you're not going to drive up to it, are you? No, look, I didn't ask you to come along, you know. Well, I suppose you know what you're doing. Now, you can stay here. Yeah, but there are lights on in there. Servants' quarters. Look, what do I say if a body comes along? You see that switch under the dash? Oh, yeah? Flick it. Then step on the starter. The motor won't catch. You can say you're having motor trouble. All right. Come on. Did you get it? Come on. But she won't catch the ignition, you bloody fool. Oh. Did you get it? You think I went in for a cup of tea, do you? Of course I got it.
You are listening to The Greatest Thief in the World, tonight's presentation in radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense.
Mr. Smith
no relation to the one you know, planned for a nest egg to start saving with United States savings bonds someday. He put off starting month after month, year after year. And you know what happened? All the money he didn't save wasn't there when he needed it. Don't you be like our Mr. Smith. Be like many smart Americans who purchase United States savings bonds regularly for a nest egg that is there.
Now we bring back to our Hollywood soundstage Mr. Ben Wright, starring in tonight's production, The Greatest Thief in the World, a tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
Once again the squire had struck, this time to the tune of £14,000 in Oriental jewels. Once again the resources of Scotland Yard were unable to discover one shred of evidence. It was useless to bring Peter Marriott in for questioning because we had no proof of his complicity. There was nothing to do but intensify our surveillance and hope that a piece of the stolen jewelry would turn up or that one of our informers would uncover something. On November 26, 1949, Marriott drove down to Kent and the estate of Lord Simon Lettington.
John?
Hello. Just running over to Paddock Woods. Want to come?
Yeah, love to.
Hop in.
Oh.
Headache?
Murderous. Did too much for me last night.
Take an aspirin. You'll need it for tonight.
If I have one more hot buttered rum, I'll die.
Oh, not you, Peter. I say, Daddy was furious with me this morning.
Why?
For behaving the way I did with you.
Oh?
He saw us kissing in the playroom. Said I had no right to lead you on, that you were a very nice young man and deserved a better fate.
His lordship is a discerning man.
Peter?
Hmm?
What were you doing in the library this morning?
Nothing. Why?
I saw you looking at the safe, just like a burglar. Very suspicious.
Oh, rot. There's probably nothing in it anyway.
Huh.
Besides, no self-respecting cracksman would touch a thing like that. It's too easy to open.
I bet the squire would.
Rank amateur. He learned everything from me.
Do you want anything in the village?
Or you might drop me at the pillar box. I have a couple of cards to post.
Right. I'll meet you in half an hour outside the cinema.
Our man followed Marriott when he left Lady Joan Lettington's car in Paddock Wood. Marriott posted 2 cards, then strolled down the road to the Hotel Rackham. He entered there, went into the tavern. Our man remained outside.
And what do you have, sir? Oh, double scotch. Double scotch? Yes, sir. Then make it Johnny Walker, will you? What you want, sir? Yeah, a bit of pre-Christmas cheer, eh? Listen, I don't like this. Outside. See in the mirror? I think it's a man from the yard. I've noticed him hanging about. Yeah, this won't do at all. What does it look like in the house? How the devil should I know? Give me time, can't you? Oh, you're a bit touchy, aren't you? Oh, boy, in this business one can't get nervy. You ought to know that. You should have stayed in London. No, it's better this way. We can keep an eye on one another, eh? Oh, this will buck you up. Double scotch, sir.
On November 30th, Marriott returned to London. We had an idea that he'd contacted someone in Rackham Hotel Tavern. Possibly the elusive stranger we knew to be meeting Marriott from time to time. In any event, we kept a man at Paddock Wood. No attempt was made during the next 3 weeks upon Lord Lettington's house, and we could do nothing but wait. On December 21st, it was noted that Peter Marriott visited Virginia Hibbert in Hammersmith at a late hour.
Oh, you really have no consideration for me at all. Really, you haven't. A fine time of night to come calling.
Oh, I'm sorry, Jenny, but I had to talk to you.
Oh, what's up?
Please listen. Now, I may have to go away, and I may not be able to see you again. Ever. You're a good girl. And sometimes I haven't been kind, but I've always known that I could trust you. It hasn't just been making use of you.
I hope not.
Jimmy, that man who came to ask you about me.
Has he got something to do with it?
Yes. I knew him a long time ago. In Canada.
Cool.
We worked together. It was in a mining town. One night there was a game. A poker game. It ended in a fight. My face was badly slashed, and I shot a man.
Lummy.
I ran away. The doctor did plastic surgery on my face. I changed my name, too.
The bloke who came back, is he the man you...
No. No, the man I shot was a miner. The fellow who came back was the one I worked with. I thought he'd been killed in the fight. Now, you see why I was afraid when you told me about him. He knows about that man that I killed.
Dirty rotter. Blackmailing you, eh?
Yes, Jenny. And I'm going to have to do something about it. The police are following me. You see, I can't let this go on. Now, look, there's some money in here, and I want you to take it.
Oh, you don't have to do that. You've treated me all right. I don't want your money, and I don't want you to go away.
No, please, it's for you. There's £1,000 here.
No.
Take it and get out of London, Jenny. Go to a nice little town and get married.
No, I want to be with you. Oh, take me with you. I could learn to be a lady, honest. I'd try.
You are. Dear Jenny.
Oh, don't go, Peter. Don't go, please.
Oh, maybe I'll come back, and if I do, I'll look for you.
Truly.
Truly.
Give us a kiss.
On the morning of December 22nd, 1949, our file on Peter Marriott was still inconclusive. He was a strong suspect, but there was the other man whom we knew he had seen from time to time. There was now the possibility that he was the squire. We expected an attempt on Lord Lettington's house and kept our detective in Paddock Wood. That same night, on the 22nd, Lord Lettington's safe was opened and a large amount of currency as well as jewelry was stolen. The plainclothesman we'd left to guard the estate was later found unconscious in some bushes.
You were an idiot to come back to the hotel. They'll be looking for you. All for you. Yeah, quite a haul. I like the paper best. Diamonds are pretty, but they're a bloody nuisance to get rid of. You won't have to worry about that anymore. No? Stand still up. Things were all right with me before you turned up. But think how much nicer it is for me. You've been such a help. I can do so much better business with you. It's finished. Oh, come on now. You'll feel better after a drink. We'll have to get away from here. At least you'll have to. I imagine half of Scotland Yard will be here soon. What about that detective? Oh, I put him out. He'll live. Not a very nice Christmas present, I'm afraid. I meant it, you know, about us. Oh, no, you didn't. Because you wouldn't like people to know, would you? It doesn't matter. Nobody does. What do they do to murderers in Canada? Hang them? Or that delightful American system, electricity? You're a fool. Do you think I spent these years getting where I have to allow you to come along and muck it up? You've had it too soft, Peter. You're spoiled. You're the one who's had it soft. I could talk, too. You know, I have an idea that you're threatening me. That's not very healthy, is it? No. I shouldn't try it, Peter. Whatever you're thinking. Turn around. What? I don't want to shoot you in the back. Is that what you're going to do? Kill me? Turn around. We're in a hotel, you know. There's bound to be noise. I'll count to 3. Don't do it, old boy. I have a gun, too. 1. I was always a better shot than you. Remember? 2. Last chance. Put down your gun. 3.
We found the body in the bedroom of the Hotel Rackham, Paddock Wood, Kent. A single shot had been fired through the head. The pistol lay on the floor. The jewels stolen from Lord Lettington's safe were on the dressing table. The currency was missing. However, there were 1 or 2 points still left unanswered. The gun was devoid of fingerprints. The deceased was not wearing gloves at the time his body was discovered. There was further the question of an open window and scuff marks on the sill. Scotland Yard still is not certain who went through that window. The real Peter Marriott? The imposter? Or the one known as the Squire?
Suspense.
in which Mr. Ben Wright starred in tonight's true story of the greatest thief in the world. Next week, the story of a pet cat and the fear it carried with it. We call it The Black Death. That's next week on Suspense. Suspense is produced and directed by Anthony Ellis, who wrote tonight's script. The music was composed by René Garrigan and conducted by Wilbur Hatch. Featured in the cast were John Bosworth, Joseph Kern, Betty Harford, Ella Morgan, Edgar Barrier, and Raymond Lawrence.
You'll enjoy romance every Saturday in the daytime on the CBS Radio Network.
And now, tonight's presentation of radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense. Tonight, we bring you a story of a pet cat and the fear it carried with it. We call it Black Death. So now, starring Mr. Edgar Barrier, here is tonight's suspense play, Black Death.
April 3rd. Remember what you did that day? It was a Saturday, so maybe you weren't working. The air held that first promise of spring, so you probably felt the urge to go outside, maybe to the park. If you did, chances are you brushed against death. Black, unpredictable, anonymous death. Listen. Yes, it's a cat. We called him Jerry. Just a tomcat, color black, disposition friendly, usually. Not too good as a mouser, no real need for it. You see, Jerry gets pretty well fed where he lives. And what mice we have there in the Biological Institute wouldn't be very healthy for Jerry. They were likely as not to be inoculated with anthrax, typhoid, rabies, cholera, typhus, or plague. We were doing special work with plague at the Institute, studying and manipulating the deadly Pastorella pestis, the rod-like germ of the Black Death. I blame myself, of course. I should have known about Jerry. As director, it is my business to know everything about the Biological Institute, to keep track of the last submicroscopic bacillus and spore in the smallest test tube. But that morning, I didn't know about Jerry. I was home. I had just finished breakfast, and Patty, as usual, was flitting about me.
Full of posies, ashes, ashes, we all fall down.
Where did you learn that song, Patty?
It's a game. The kids in the park play it. Why, Daddy?
I didn't answer her. How could I tell Patty the harmless nursery rhyme had its horrible origin among the victims of the Great Plague of London? In their desperation, they hoped the smell of flowers might ward off the deadly miasma. It didn't help, of course. Posy or no, they coughed their lives away. And they did fall down by the uncounted thousands, never to rise again.
Don't forget, Daddy, you promised.
Promise? What did I promise now?
Take me with you to the office. You remember?
I said if it was all right with Mother.
Oh, I asked Mama, and first she said no, because she always worries about the germs. Then I told her you said the Institute is the safest place in town, because every germ is under a lock and a key. So she said all right.
All right, you little minx. You win.
Oh, goody. Now I'll get to play with Jerry.
I'll get it, dear. Hello?
Dr. Gebhardt.
Oh, hello,
Dr.
Mike.
Gebhardt. Dr. Gebhardt, I think I got it.
Got it? What's the matter, Mike?
Plague.
Oh, that's impossible.
All the symptoms. There's a leak somewhere. Hurry, Doctor.
I'll be right down.
I'm all ready, Daddy.
Not today, Patty.
But, Daddy...
Not today, I said. I'm sorry.
You promised, Daddy, and I wanted to play with Jerry.
Mac was waiting for me in my office. It took only a moment to see that it was true. The characteristic expression of fear and anxiety. His skin hot and dry. The hacking cough.
Am I glad to see you?
Oh, Mac, what are you doing up? Have you treated yourself?
Yes, but it's advanced. Pretty far. Don't get near me.
How on earth did this happen?
Slipped up somewhere. Yesterday had chills, headache, dizzy. Thought it was something. I didn't pay attention.
All right. Enough of that. Now you're getting to bed.
No, not until we locate the leak. The guinea pigs. The cage over there.
No, it can't be. Not one of those animals is a Pastorella. There must be something else. Now get away, Jerry. Mac, you're sure you didn't work with some others? Those mice, maybe.
I'm positive.
Oh, the fool cat. Let me get him out of here. Now, come on, Jerry. Outside.
Careful, Doctor. He's been funny lately. He scratched me the other day.
What did you say, Mac?
I said, Jerry scratched me, Doctor. That's what...
He lay there, writhing on the floor. And then he was gone. Once the deadly bacillus took hold of his lungs and his blood, our miracle drugs were no more effective than the posies of those ancient, terrified Londoners. But I wasn't thinking of that. I was looking at the long, ugly, inflamed scratches on his arm. Jerry. It didn't seem possible, yet there was the proof. Somehow Jerry had picked up the infection, which could happen 100 ways, and passed it on to Mac. And Jerry was outside somewhere in the streets, in the unsuspecting city, sick, unpredictable, with death in every one of his claws. And I had sent him out there. I ran outside, but the earth had swallowed Jerry up. The police. I needed the police. But I had to handle this carefully, very carefully. If it got out, if all these people learned of the black killer stalking among them, there would be panic. No, they mustn't know. I had to see the chief of police immediately.
I'm sorry, mister, but the chief's a busy man. You tell me who you are and what's your business.
All I am asking is to open that door, get the chief on the phone, anything. This is absolutely vital, I tell you. The whole city.
Yeah, I understand.
Chief Williams.
Now, look, you don't want to get into trouble.
Hey, Chubby, what goes on here?
There's no story in this for you, Ryan. That the nut thinks he's going to see the chief.
I've got to see
Hey, hold it. Wait a minute. I've covered some of your lectures. You're Dr.
Gebhardt, you know me. Tell him.
He works at the Biological Institute, Chubby. Got a story for me, Doctor? Something hot, maybe?
I've got to see the chief. Can you make this man understand?
Yeah, sure. Let him in, Chubby. He's all right. I'll vouch for him.
You'll vouch for him. That's a laugh. If I let him in there, it's my job.
If you don't let him in, it's your job, brother.
Yes.
There's a Dr. Gebhardt to see you. Says it's urgent.
Gebhardt? All right, send him in.
Yes, sir. That door right there, Doctor. I'm sorry. I didn't have any way of knowing.
I tell you, Chief, that cat has got to be found, even if it takes every man in the department to do it.
Well, that's just fine, Doctor. Have you any idea just how many black cats of that description are at large in a city of this size?
It doesn't make any difference. We were working with plague bacillus in its purest form at the Institute. That cat is capable of infecting any human, any animal he scratches.
Doctor, are you sure of this?
My assistant just died. That's how sure.
All right. Emergency alarm, disaster level. All leaves canceled. Alert every available man for orders. Transmit to fire department, highway patrol, county sheriff's office, state and federal agencies.
All ready, sir.
Apprehend Black Cat, male. Answers the name of Jerry.
Repeat, shoot on sight, but do not approach or touch the cat, dead or alive. Report in location immediately on contact and stand by for decontamination squad.
Then we'll requisition all available streptomycin, sulfadiazine, penicillin. Alert medical staffs of all city hospitals to prepare for treatment of the plague.
No, don't say that.
What?
Don't use the word plague. Once it gets out what we're after, the whole city will let go in panic.
Yes, I agree with you, Doctor, but these alarms go only to the law enforcement bodies. As soon as I can get the machinery going, I'll warn the newspapers to clamp the lid on it.
They'll do it?
Oh, sure, they'll all play ball. Except maybe the tabloid.
The tabloid?
What? Oh, what's the matter?
I'll be right back. Officer, where's that man who was here before?
Ryan? I don't know. He listened to about half the chief's order, and then he beat it out of here.
I remembered where I had seen Ryan before. He was a reporter on the tabloid. A year ago, he broke an off-the-record statement of mine, caused no end of trouble. He had recognized me just now. And he had heard enough of the chief's orders to put two and two together. I had to catch him before... There was a bank of phone booths ahead. I scanned the glass doors until I saw his form hunched inside.
It's the plague. A cat's got it. Of course I'm sure. I even know the cat. I've seen him in the Institute. A black top. Oh, hello, Dr. Gebhardt. Hey, hold it, Bill. Here's Dr. Gebhardt. Maybe he'll give us a direct statement. How about it, Doctor? What's the latest on the plague situation?
The latest is you're going to kill that story and kill it quick.
Why? It's true, isn't it?
Look, you can't let this out. Do you realize what it means if that news breaks on this city? The hospitals will be swamped with panic-stricken people. There won't be men or equipment or time to take care of the real victims.
What an angle. Hey, Bill, get this. Take out photographers in all the hospitals and watch for the fireworks.
Oh, wait. You've got to call this off.
Read it in your daily tabloid, Doctor. Plague strikes city.
You dirty...
Go ahead. Hit me. The tab gives us a bonus if we're stocked in the line of duty.
You earn it.
Listening to Black Death, tonight's presentation in radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense.
Tomorrow evening, exclusive on CBS Radio for the 9th straight year, hear the Hambletonian, the greatest event in the world of harness racing. Coming to you direct from Good Time Track in historic Goshen, New York. The Hambletonian is this season's climax in harness racing, matching the best trotters in the Grand Circuit. CBS Radio's John Durr provides color and comment. Charles Hinkle, official announcer for Grand Circuit trotting events, is your reporter. Tomorrow evening, on most of these stations, a CBS Radio sports exclusive. Hear the Hambletonian start to finish.
And now we bring back to our Hollywood soundstage Mr. Edgar Barrier, starring in tonight's production, Black Death, a tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
Five minutes after the tabloid hit the streets, the lines were jammed with frightened calls from anybody who had ever seen or imagined a black cat, and we had to investigate them all. There was no way around that. Let me through, please. Now, officer, where is the cat?
This way, Doctor. There he is. I've got him cornered in that area way. Couldn't reach him to shoot. Watch your step, Doctor. He's mean.
Oh, don't worry. I'm not going any closer without my mask and gloves. All right, officer. Keep your gun ready.
Yes, sir.
Jerry. Yeah, this is the 18th false alarm we've chased down in the last 2 hours. Call the animal shelter, officer. Chief Williams was right about one thing. I had no idea how many black cats could be loose in a city the size of ours. It was late afternoon when the alarms stopped coming in faster than we could take care of them, and I got back to the chief's office, tired, with a feeling of hopelessness.
Every substation, every hospital, every doctor's office in town, it's the same. You'd never believe so many people could get bitten, scratched, mauled, or kissed by cats in a single day. Or think they did.
The blood test?
Every last one negative so far.
Thank heaven for that. Anyway.
I don't know. We're going to have to find one victim anyhow, or we'll never get a line on that cat. Now, come over here, Doctor. Let's look at this map.
I followed Chief Williams to the big wall map. Inside the perimeter of the circle that stretched a mile in every direction from its center at the Institute, colored pins dotted sector after sector, and the area was slowly, painstakingly mopped up by peace officers with drawn guns. It was like war. It was war. War without quarter against a single enemy more dangerous than a battalion of soldiers. Slowly, the cordon narrowing in around Jerry, compressing him into a smaller and smaller space.
Chief.
Yes.
Dr. Gebhardt's wife is calling again.
Oh?
Oh, yes, Doctor. I'm sorry. She's been trying to get you all day. Here, you can take the call here.
Oh, thanks. Hello, Dolly. Yes, I know. No, we haven't caught him yet, but don't worry about it.
What?
Oh?
Good. Switch all the men you can to the park.
Yeah, I suppose she's safe enough there, darling. But you'd better get her inside. Don't take any chances.
Dr. Gebhardt.
Yes? I've got to go now, Ella. Yes, of course, I'll be careful.
Dr. Gebhardt.
You watch out for Patty. Goodbye. Yes, Chief.
What a break, Doctor. Your cat's pinned down. We'll get him now.
Oh, thank heaven. Where?
In Washington Park.
Where?
I've thrown an airtight cordon around the park and given shooting orders. It's only a matter of time now.
Washington Park? Are you sure?
Yes, we got a positive blood test. The woman was picnicking in the park. She petted and fed your cat, and he scratched her. The blood test was... What's the matter, Doctor?
Patty, my little girl is in Washington Park.
What?
Yes, she's been playing there all afternoon. My wife just told me. I should have been glad, I suppose. It was the first real break we'd had all day, pointing directly to Jerry. But all I could think of was my daughter. Soon it would be dark. And then Jerry would be nothing but two shining coals of eyes, hungry and erratic, invisible as the virus of death he carried in his own dying body. It was then, I think, I first thought of Jerry as what he really was. Death. Black death. The police had herded all the people caught by the dragnet into a corner of the park. And then I heard shots. The cleanup squad was going through the park with drawn guns, systematically killing all living things that could spread the plague. But shots go wild. And Patty was somewhere out there.
What are you doing here? Can't you civilians follow orders? You belong back there with the others.
Well, I'm Dr. Gebhardt. You've got to stop shooting.
Don't tell me what I got to do. I got my orders.
That's all right, officer. I'll take over here.
Oh, yes, sir.
Have you seen a little girl, about 8, long brown hair?
Well, there's lots of kids there with the others. We heard them all over by the picnic table.
No, she's not there. I looked.
And I'll guarantee she ain't in the park. We covered every inch of the place, going down to the water on all sides of the lake.
But what about that island?
Mister, can you imagine a cat getting out of that island? A cat?
Well, there's a bridge, isn't there?
I know cats, mister. No cat's going to cross water if it can help it. Bridge or no bridge.
You idiot. He could be carried, couldn't he? And it's the last possible
And I tell you
Officer, your orders were to mop up this park, all of it, not to use your own judgment about the habits of cats.
Yes, sir.
I ran over the bridge. The little island in the middle of the lake, so idyllic and peaceful by day, now looked in the darkening shadows like a silent, waiting jungle. It was the one last place that Jerry could be. At the chief's orders, we spread out 5 yards apart, then started across the island. We were like jungle beaters, driving warily ahead, leaving no single inch of ground or bush or tree unexplored. It was dark now. I could not see the others. Except for the trample of their feet on the twigs and the fitful play of the officers' flashlights, I might have been alone on this island. Alone with death. In the windows of the tall apartments surrounding the park, lights went on and off in a haphazard pattern. One of those lights should have been my own. Only I knew my wife was pressed anxiously against the police cordon that kept her out of the park. And Patty, my own little girl.
Oh, you bad man! You tried to kill my kitty!
Patty!
You tried to kill my kitty!
Patty! Patty!
What happened? What happened? Did you get him?
Chief, I saw the eyes shining in the dark. I didn't know there was a kid
Patty!
there.
Patty, are you hurt?
Where is she? Where did you see the cat?
In there, down under them bushes.
I followed the beam of the officer's flash. Patty had crawled deep inside a natural tunnel under the thick twining cypress. I saw her tear-stained face, frightened, and then 2 coals of fire glared at me from the shadow.
In her arms.
It takes a notion to scratch her.
Patty. Patty. Let the kitty go.
No. No, go away.
I can make him out better now, Chief. I think I can hit that cat.
Put it away, Blanchard.
Yes, sir, Chief. Only it...
Give me your flashlight, officer. I'm going in there. I raised my mask, dropped to my knees, and started into the opening between the close-set hedges. But I got no further than the opening.
No! Go away! Go away!
Patty.
Go away!
Patty, darling. It's Daddy. It's me, darling.
No, you're not my dad. You're a bad man. You're gonna hurt me. Go away!
What's got into her?
It's your mask, Gephardt. That's what's scaring her.
Of course. That's what it is.
But you're not going in there without a mask.
Patty has no mask. I'm going in to get my little girl. Patty? Patty, it's Daddy. Don't be scared. I'm coming in with you to take you home to Mama. Now, don't be scared, darling.
I'm not scared, Daddy. Jerry's here.
Yes. Now, Patty, let me hold Jerry.
You won't take him away from me?
Now, don't squeeze him. If you scratch. He hasn't scratched you, has he, darling?
Oh, no, Daddy. Jerry wouldn't do that. He's my friend.
Yes, of course he is, baby. But Jerry is sick. He's very sick. You'd better let me hold him.
You make people well, don't you, Daddy? You're a doctor.
That's right, darling. I make people well.
Here, then, Daddy. You take Jerry and make him well.
He was in my arms. Suddenly he didn't seem like death anymore. It was just Jerry. The old familiar Jerry I had fed and scolded and petted for all the years he'd been a fixture at the Institute. He relaxed in my arms as only a cat can and stretched forth a long paw. The claws came out and rested on my bare wrist. If he made a quick move, even involuntarily, but Jerry didn't make the move. Slowly, the claws, still holding their deadly venom, sank back into their furry sheaths. I took a bottle out of my pocket, uncapped it.
What's that funny smell, Daddy?
It's medicine for Jerry. It's called chloroform.
Will it make him well?
It will make him go to sleep, dear. You see? He's asleep now.
I'm sleepy too, Daddy. Can we go home now?
Oh, yes, Patty. We're going home. We're going home now.
Suspense, in which Mr. Edgar Barrier starred in tonight's presentation of Black Death. Next week, the story of betrayal and retribution on Devil's Island. We call it The Stool Pigeon. That's next week on Suspense. Suspense is produced and directed by Anthony Ellis. Tonight's script was written by Lawrence Goldman. The music was composed by René Garrigan and conducted by Wilbur Hatch. Featured in the cast were William Conrad, Mary McGovern, Gil Fry, Jack Edwards, Jim Musser, Joe Cranston, and Barney Phillips.
Thursday nights, The Whistler brings mystery on the CBS Radio Network.